Welcome back, boxing fans. Another great show with Sean on boxing and Lily. College basketball is getting back up to gear. I'm excited right now. I'm watching number 5 ranked BYU versus Nebraska. Obviously, we get to see the probably number 1 draft pick coming out next year in Debansa, who definitely looks like a potential superstar. The kid's long, athletic, and very fluid. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does this year and how effective he can make BYU. BYU had a good run last year in the NCAA tournament, and now you add a number 1 NBA draft pick. Obviously, that could make all the difference right there. Easy getting to the hoop, drawing the foul. Um, but of course, this isn't about basketball. This is about boxing. So let's get to this. Obviously, you can see what my video is talking about today. We're talking about the lightweight division because right now, currently, the lightweight division is going through quite a bit of transition, right? And every division goes through transition. Like right now, the 160-pound division is very weak, very weak. 154, 168 are good. Eventually, 154 guys are going to move to 160. 160 is going to really bulk up and look better. 168 guys are going to move to 175, a division that's very stacked on top, but a little weak throughout the division. But eventually, those 168 guys are going to move up, and 175 is going to get stacked out. So this is the consistent sort of transition of boxing. Fighters moving from one division to another. Obviously, now that divisions are so close, there's not that big of a difference between weight classes. So, ultimately, whatever is going to benefit fighters is what they do. So today we're going to look at that. We're going to break it down, talk about it, and look to see, who potentially may be the future superstars of this weight division. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section, ask questions, and participate. So let's get to this right now. Obviously, Jaime's in the house. He says, "Are you watching Danny Garcia's retirement?" No, he's fighting a pizza delivery man right now. Yes, I saw he was fighting, but I don't fucking care. Like, I haven't cared about Danny Garcia since he fought Errol Spence, and even before that, I wasn't really too hyped on him anyway. He was always a very one-dimensional, limited fighter who was only hyped because he was with the PBC. Brian says, "Hey, Sean, how you doing?" All good, mate. Doing well, doing well. So today we're talking about the lightweight division. Let's check it out. So the lightweight division has always been a really packed, stacked, and followed division in boxing, right? Going back to Roberto Duran. Obviously, a lot of Americans don't watch smaller boxers, but the lightweight was kind of the cutoff, right? From 135 to heavyweight is what generally was sort of followed on the regular by American boxing fans. Obviously, when you get to Central America and Asia, then they're following, obviously, from much smaller divisions because obviously they have more representation. In the lightweight division, this is primarily an American-based division: welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. So let's get to it. Obviously, you can see this picture. This was the last great group of 135 pounders. And the biggest problem here is that outside of Lomachenko, who fought Tio and Devin Haney, and obviously multiple other top lightweights that aren't ranked here, like obviously George, Linares, Colme, Luke Campbell, and a lot more. Really, he had the biggest impact as far as the 135-pound division, collecting 3 of the 4 belts, obviously losing to Tio in their unification match. Tank Davis has fought Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney has fought Loma and Ryan Garcia. Tio has fought Loma. So we didn't get quite the push from the fighters in this division that we were hoping for. Obviously, we thought we'd get a lot more matchups between Tank, Tio, Ryan, and Devin Haney. And then obviously Shakur moved into that group as well and was a legitimate addition to that group as one of the top fighters in boxing. Ryan Garcia, as time has shown, is probably the one that least deserves to be sort of recognized in this division, a guy who's never been a world champion. And we know it's not that hard to become a world champion nowadays, right? If he would have beat Rolly Romero currently, right now, he would be a world champion. But, every opportunity he was given, he's basically sort of dropped the ball on. Whereas Tio is obviously a two-weight world champion. Devin Haney is a two-weight world champion, trying to become a three-weight world champion. Lomachenko is a three-weight world champion. Tank Davis is a two-weight world champion, even though his second division was obviously an email title, not beating someone to earn the title, but just sort of waiting until Devin Haney dropped his title for him to be elevated. And then you have Shakur, who's also a three-weight world champion right now, and maybe a four-weight world champion in the future. We will see how that all pans out. Brian says there are tons of great fights at 135, but few got made. Yeah, and that's been the biggest disappointment. Like, people talk about how people hated on FBA fighters, but it's not that people hated on FBA fighters. It's just unfortunate that we didn't get fights between Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney that we were hoping for, right? To see who was the best. Obviously, Lomachenko did do the most out of everybody, yet he's the one that's mostly criticized. He took losses in those fights, lost to Haney, lost to Lopez, right? But he took on that level of opponent. Whereas the other guys, I mean, Ryan Garcia took on Tank Davis and Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia, who's the least recognized and accomplished out of all of them, but he's done more than a lot of the top guys in boxing. Shakur, a lot of people feel he's basically been ducked. We know that Tank Davis is really going out of his way to not fight Shakur, even though currently at 135 pounds, that is easily the biggest and best fight that could be made. And a fight where both of those guys could potentially make close to $40 million. I don't know if they would make 40 million, but they would start pushing 10 million and more, right? Potentially 20, depending on pay-per-view and everything else. So it's obviously a huge fight, and a fight that would get tons of push, not just in the States, but also globally as well. But let's skip through this and start looking about how things have changed. So here is obviously the older generation, the last generation. You know, we had these three guys in 2025, all world champions. And on paper, this looks spectacular because you had Keyshawn, who could fight Loma, Shakur, who could fight Loma, Tank, who could fight Loma. You had Shakur, who could fight Loma and could fight Tank. You had Shakur, who could fight Tank. Sorry, did I say Keyshawn's name twice? But obviously, we know Keyshawn and Shakur were never going to fight. A lot of people were pushing hate towards that. But the irony with the situation is you didn't even need to push hate. If Keyshawn and Lomachenko would have fought and Shakur and Tank Davis would have fought, you could have had the winners fight then. And obviously, if it was Shakur and Keyshawn at that point, it would have been such a big fight anyways that they probably would have got the fight done, right? And that's if they would have beat their opponents and got to that position. But unfortunately, out of these guys, we didn't get any unification fights. None. Lomachenko obviously retired. Tank Davis, I guess we can say he's retired. Shakur is getting frustrated chasing top-level fighters. And Keyshawn, who was really close to potentially being that breakout superstar boxer, basically shot himself in the foot because of youth, stupidity, just made a few bad decisions when he was at the peak of potentially becoming a superstar in that division and had options ahead of him, right? Not even at this division, but obviously there was the potential of him moving up to become a two-weight world champion, taking on Teofimo Lopez. They had quite a bit of back and forth between the two of them as well, right? And obviously people would have been stoked to see that fight get made, especially with Tio pushing out that racial shit and Keyshawn fucking jumping on it and sort of confronting him based on that. It would have really been a really great buildup for that fight, right? Probably bigger than any of the other fights here. And that's taking away Tank Davis, who's the most financially celebrated out of all of the fighters. Yet a Tank Davis-Tio fight probably wouldn't have got the same level of push as a Keyshawn-Tio, just because obviously they have much better personalities and are much better talkers as far as building up a fight and going back and forth at each other. So it's a shame that this didn't happen. Ironically, the only guy who really gets criticized is Lomachenko. Yet out of all four, he's the most accomplished out of all of them. But he's the one who gets sort of blamed because he didn't fight Shakur and he didn't fight Tank. Yet Tank and Shakur didn't fight each other. But yet they don't really get too much hate directed towards them. Ironically. But nonetheless, it's a shame. I really was looking forward to Lomachenko Tank Davis when the fight looked like it was going to be done. I was anticipating that fight. Historically, I always felt that Lomachenko would frustrate Tank Davis and eventually lead him to pull a no mas or just beating him on the cards. And in the Lamont Roach fight, you kind of saw what I was talking about. Tank Davis, when push comes to shove, mentally is fragile. And he showed that in the Lamont Roach fight. When things didn't go his way, he just crumbled. And Lamont Roach is no Lomachenko. So I felt Lomachenko would have consistently, historically, always have frustrated and eventually broke Tank Davis mentally. So I was disappointed the fight didn't happen, even though Lomachenko is 37 years old, didn't have anything more to prove. Obviously, we know that coming off of the Devin Haney loss, he really sort of had lost his love for the sport of boxing, and that's what led him to his retirement. But let's click through and see what else is going on. Obviously, we know there's talk now about Tank Davis versus Jake Paul, which it's ironic because I remember Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez was getting talked about, and people really went after Canelo Alvarez, shitting all over him for the possibility of taking on Jake Paul, which would have been a huge fight nonetheless, and not a fight that I was pushing for. No way did I want Canelo at this point, being an undisputed champion, taking on Jake Paul. Didn't make any sense at all. It's not a fight that made sense. I would have preferred Jake Paul to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay is kind of on the slide. A fight versus Jake would have got him big money and would have kind of elevated him, in the eyes of boxing fans as well, because people would have loved to see him knock out Jake Paul just because of the disdain that people have towards Jake Paul. Tank Davis, on the other hand, is a world champion taking on a social media guy. I mean, he did that against Ryan Garcia, but at least Ryan Garcia was a boxer who was ranked by all the sanctioning bodies and was considered a real threat. Taking on Jake Paul is just a money grab. And when you have potential opponents like Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevens right there in front of you, Keyshawn Davis, nobody is wanting a guy to take on this kind of opponent. Even if you can say he's getting paid. Okay, he's getting paid. But what about fucking giving people fights that people actually want to watch? Because I can tell you, I'm not watching Jake Paul Tank Davis. I would never fucking ever contribute to that kind of bullshit. Right? I barely wanted to watch Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And that was like a retired boxer and a social media guy, which you couldn't really get too upset about. But this is a real professional fighter, a world champion. So, it's no surprise people are pissed off and sort of giving Tank Davis the gears. When Floyd Mayweather did this kind of fight, he'd already retired from the sport of boxing. I was all praising Floyd Mayweather for taking Conor McGregor on. I don't think that fight should have been on his record. It should have been just an exhibition fight. It shouldn't have been the fight that made him 50-0. That's my only issue with that. But as far as the fight itself, it made sense. If there's big money to be made, you might as well jump at it. And now that's how people are sort of justifying Tank Davis, embarrassing them as fans to take on this opponent. I know you're going to hear people talk about the contradiction with Pacquiao and Lomachenko, but there's no contradiction. Lomachenko is not a world champion right now. He's officially retired from the sport of boxing. Manny Pacquiao's also officially retired from the sport of boxing. This is nothing that we haven't seen for decades after decades of old retired fighters coming back to try to, reclaim their essence and obviously get paid in the process. For Pacquiao, we saw him come back and fight for a world title. I was against that. I thought, he didn't deserve it, just like I don't think Errol Spence deserves a world title fight at this point. But to fight Lomachenko, it is what it is. This is a fight some people talked about back in the day. if you could do this fight now at 142-pound catch weight, which would be good for both fighters at this age of their careers, the fight makes sense. Even though, to be fair, I'm a huge Pacquiao and Lomachenko fan, and I'd rather not see them in any of these kind of fights because I don't think it helps their legacy. But that's my opinion. Obviously, other people feel different. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. God bless you, Sean and Lily. Jesus Christ is Lord. Well, yes, that's why you gotta like fucking start defending Christianity worldwide, right? Christianity is being attacked, being attacked. Can't wait for Tank versus Jake. Well, Jay, that tells you everything you need to know about you as a boxing fan. What interest is there in a Jake Paul Tank Davis fight? We know those fights are not legitimate. They're not real. They're fucking bullshit fights that never fucking deliver entertainment. The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was a money grab. So many people were pissed off at the end of that fight. People that I knew that are not boxing fans watched it because of Mike Tyson and were really, really fucking angry after that fight. Really angry. The reality of the situation is Tank Davis taking on Jake Paul right now. This does not benefit him outside of financially. Career-wise, this is like putting a bullet in your mouth and fucking offing yourself because it's just a really disrespecting fucking move for Tank Davis. But who's surprised? Tank Davis has always been, nothing to ever fucking really get excited about. Obviously, exciting style, lots of power, but as a person, a real fucking asshole. The things he does to outside of boxing, real fucking despicable. And the thing he's done for his whole career, duck and dodge every legitimate fighter available, it is just PBC. So no one's surprised. Brian says Keyshawn is a big kid, so he's going to end up like Haney very soon, where he'll see need to move up to 140. So Teo may happen. Agree, that's a big fight and a bigger buildup. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure his next fight's going to be 140 when he comes back, even though he's claimed to be retired. So we will see. Obviously, I figured he would defend his 135 title, and his next fight potentially would have been against Teo. And at that point, he really would have been pushing for one of the biggest superstars in boxing. But then you fuck all that shit up, and now nobody's even talking about you, right? It shows you how quick public opinion really turns on someone. Holland Ninja says the Night of Samurai card got 3 pound-for-pound fighters on it. You're the only one talking about it, Sean. Everyone pretending it doesn't exist. Well, because all these race-based fucking fanboy channels, right, they just want to continue to push the same bullshit narratives. Push racism so they get fucking AdSense. Everything is racist. They're pathetic. You're getting 2 great cards from Saudi Arabia. One, obviously, with Devin Haney, with fucking David Benavidez, and then one with fucking Junto and fucking Inui. As a boxing fan, why wouldn't you be fucking super stoked? But then we got guys like J.A., who's excited about fucking Tank Davis and Jake Paul. That tells you why American boxing is dying and why no American fucking TV platforms want to fucking showcase boxing anymore. Bobby says, I don't like the fight, but Tyson Fury was only 35, still prime, especially go heavyweight fight, 0-0 MMA. At least Jake Paul has a real boxing record. See, ironically enough, Tyson Fury got fucking really shit on for taking on fucking Ngannou, right? And Tyson Fury, was he a world champion when he fought Ngannou? Maybe he was. I can't remember the specifics. But literally, nobody wanted that fight to happen. It was a fucking bullshit fight. Just like this is a bullshit fight. So if you're consistent, you understand that world champions taking on a social media guy just to get paid are bullshit fights. When AJ took on fucking Ngannou, that's fine. AJ's not a world champion. He didn't hold the title. He just jumped at an opportunity to fucking embarrass Tyson Fury and try to build up the fight between the two of them by taking on a common opponent. And he did that and did exactly what he wanted to do, but then lost to fucking Daniel Dubois. I hope you know the Jews are the ones attacking Christianity. No, Jay, it's not Jews. In Nigeria, it's not Jews that are killing fucking Nigerian Christians. It's Muslims. Muslims historically have always attacked Jews and Christians. If you're so stupid that you don't understand that, you don't understand global politics. But this is a boxing thing right now, not on geopolitics, so I won't go into it anymore. But just go look at Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, go look at Turkey, and look at the transition from those countries and who was the one that was instigating it. That's all I'll say. And look at the relationship between Pakistan and India and why that issue fucking exists today. But okay. Jay says Tank is taking on a ranked cruiserweight. Oh my God, Jay, you're pathetic. Really. You know, if Tank Davis fucking pulled his cock out, you'd be all over it. That's how pathetic you are. Yet you want to claim to be a boxing fan. Oh my God. Dudes like you, fucking not real boxing fans. Pathetic. The commission won't even sanction it because of how dangerous it is. You got to respect Tank for having the balls to take on a fight like this. An exhibition fight, which is a money grab. Why would I fucking respect Tank Davis for taking on a fight versus a fucking amateur fighter to try to make tens of millions of dollars? We know why he's doing it. Not to prove he's great, not to prove anything except to fucking get paid. We constantly see church shootings with people praying for Mr. Jesus. Why as it happens, they aren't protected. Oh my God. Now you just prove you're a fucking tool, Bobby. Christians and religious people historically have always fucking got killed, and praying did never fucking help them. That's why I'm not religious. The only religion I kind of lean towards is Buddhism, because it's not a religion. It's just a philosophy and a way of life, non-judgmental. You never saw fucking Buddhists fucking attack other religions. Never, ever in history. Hey, Sean, how are you, mate? Good, Gaza. All good. Sean, what's with all the racial community posts? I'm just trying to make a point. John Boxing does it all the time. So are you offended when I do it? So are you offended when John does it? These are not racial community posts. These are news articles that are posted. If you want to take racism out of it, that has more to do with you than it does me. But yeah, and when John does it, specifically to push a racial narrative, I don't see you complaining about it. Black fatigue is real. Sean, can you go one live stream without talking about race? Actually, I think somebody else brought it up, not me. Again. Turkey is a liar. He said no more pay-per-views, yet he's charging $60 for Benavidez and Yard fight. That is legitimate criticism, Bobby, and a legitimate fucking boxing conversation. Thank you for focusing on boxing and not narratives. No, I agree with you. I mean, when Turkey came out and said no more pay-per-view on DAZN, this is what I've been hoping for. All the boxers to be on DAZN, no more pay-per-views, right? Bringing boxing together for boxing fans. Not what Tank Davis is doing, but this, right? But I agree with you. I think now that whole fucking conversation has kind of been twisted on its head, and now they're trying to create a DAZN Elite. And if you buy DAZN Elite product, then you won't have to pay for pay-per-views. So really what they're trying to do is show you, well, you can have normal DAZN and pay $60 for pay-per-views 5, 6, 7, 8 times a year, or you can pay this new fee to become an elite member of DAZN, and you will never have to pay pay-per-view, which is fine if you're actually getting quality, legitimate fight cards. But there's no guarantee that that's what's going to happen. So I agree with you. I don't like it at all. I didn't like when the PBC consistently pushed pay-per-view. I don't like it if DAZN and Turkey consistently are pushing pay-per-view. I did hear one conversation talking about how, well, for DAZN, Turkey's only a 15% shareholder. So if 85% of ownership wants to go in a different direction, Turkey can't really win the battle of that conversation. I don't know how much truth there is to that or not. All I know is I'm disappointed just like you are. It's not lying. PBC said the same thing. Do you say PBC lied? Once again, Bobby, keep it fucking 100. PBC said no pay-per-views, and now literally all they do is pay-per-views. And a lot of pay-per-view fight cards that are fucking straight up garbage. Exactly, mate. They praise Joshua and shit on Fury. So many simps suffer from Fury derangement syndrome. Junto and Inui is an absolute monster fight and will no doubt be the biggest fight next year. Is there a venue big enough for the hold that in Japan? I'm not sure. I know they're going to do it in the Tokyo Dome, and I don't know how much they could extend potentially that community to allow for more people, but I guess we'll find out. I would say maybe 60 to 75,000 people. It's going to be somewhere in there, but yeah. Racial community posts, truth hurts. All I posted was literally news articles that fucking are all over social media all the time. And you get them that are black and you get them that are white. The only reason I posted it because whenever I look at John's community page, it's consistently anti-white propaganda. Anti-white. I didn't fucking even make a comment on any of the posts I made. I just posted them. You can read into it how you may. Getting rid of pay-per-view is like getting rid of private health insurance. It will take time to get rid of it, not right away. Sean fell into the rabbit hole of racial division. It's sad when you consider he was once a Rastafarian. I know. If only I could fucking grow my dreads and fucking sit around smoking weed all day, life would be fucking peaceful. No, it's more than that, Jay. It's because I've always been political, because in my house, news and politics were argued about and discussed. So I don't mind arguing. I just had an argument last night watching football with somebody who's Irish and very anti-Trump, which is ironic when Irish people are anti-Trump. But nonetheless, we had an argument, and he took stuff personal, but said, I hope this doesn't make us fall out. Why do you keep saying that? For me, I don't care if you disagree with me. It's okay. Just like you, Jay, and everyone else. I can disagree with people without fucking being hateful and negative. Example, one of my friends I used to live with in Vancouver, we still talk, we're still friends, but of course she's one of these Trump derangement syndrome people, right? I said that I think Muslims should be banned from Christian countries. And she said that I'm being racist. How is me saying that Muslims should be banned from Christian countries racist? Muslims are not a race. It's a fucking religion, right? If you want to say a different word to condemn me, that's fine. But it's my opinion. You can disagree with me. That's the great thing about living in a country where people can have a different opinion. You may say, no, we should let all Muslims fucking come to the country. Okay, that's your opinion. I disagree. See, for me, I can have conversations. I've traveled the world. I lived for a long time. I've seen all the politicians from the States and worldwide and things people have done. I've seen fucking Taiwan that was controlled by a dictator, Philippines controlled by a dictator, China before they were communist and now fucking controlled by a dictator. So I've seen the history of fucking all this stuff. So when I give my opinion, it's not based on the media. I'm not following what the media says. I'm giving my opinion based on years and years of observation and looking at the global picture, not fucking trying to push an agenda or a narrative. If you're American, you should agree with me. You shouldn't want fucking Muslims to come to your country because soon they're going to invade and turn your country into a Muslim country like they do everywhere where they get a majority of the population. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Already you got a little fucking example of what's going to happen. But let's talk boxing. If they continue more events like the last Crescendo with low pricing, and I'm absolutely down with pay-per-view to support the fighters. Wait, hold on, Sean. Do you like Pacquiao? Do you think Pacquiao is actually fighting Loma? I don't know if he is or not. I just know that's the conversation. And I wouldn't be surprised, right? We know Pacquiao wants to keep fighting and right, you know, if they could get Lomachenko with their connection through Top Rank Bob Arum, they could do it. Obviously, we know that the fight is falling through between Pacquiao and what's his face, Rolly Romero, which is fine because I don't think Pacquiao deserves to get a world title fight. Not versus Rolly Romero, not versus Mario Barros, even though I'm a Pacquiao fan. Turkey charged $20 for Last Crescendo. Al Heyman's PBC is charging $80 to $100. Yes, Holland Ninja, that's true, but now the next one's going to be $60, not 20. If it was only 20, I wouldn't really feel too much in my feelings about it. But when you start getting closer to that 50, 60, $70 mark, then I agree with Bobby. You know, it's a lot of bullshit and we shouldn't have to pay for it. Sean Porter, Danny Khan, I personally don't think are Hall of Fame fighters, but I assume they get in. Yeah, I don't think that any of them are Hall of Fame fighters. Canelo outlanded in 6 rounds. Crawford outlanded in 4 2 rounds. We're a tie with Canelo outlanded Crawford in power punches, though. Canelo won the fight 8-4, but unfortunately, the world wants Crawford. Well, Nick, I disagree with you. I thought it was closer than the judges had it, but I still think Crawford won the fight pretty clearly. Roach Pitbull pay-per-view is $80. Benavidez Yard is 60. Both stack cards. I just think the model is, I don't know what that emoji is. To be fair, the Benavidez card is great. It's a great card. So if I had to pay $60 for a pay-per-view, I'd prefer that as opposed to the Lamont Roach fight card, which I don't think is going to be that great. Like, you could say it's great because it's PBC, but let's be honest. Let's check that card out and just look a little closer at it. Dun 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 dun. Who else is on that card? The names escape me. Richard Hitchens, is he on that card? Who's on that card? Oh, Fulton, Stephen Fulton, right? Even though that card, there we are. So, is that the card? No, that's a different card. Oh, Funduro, Ramos, Frank Martin, Oshaki. Even that PBC card, to be fair, it's not a bad card. But if you want me to spend $80 to watch Oshaki Foster, Stephen Fulton, that's not a pay-per-view fight. Funduro Thurman, fucking definitely not a fucking pay-per-view fight. Ramos Mosley, come on, get real. Martin versus fucking Rancis Bartholomew. Rancis, like rancid milk. He's fucking terrible. Nobody should ever have to watch that guy fight. Yeah, that's not a fucking pay-per-view card. No fire sticks in Taiwan, Sean. No fire sticks. I had Crawford 10-2. I think that's a little too much. Benavidez is an unproven bum. Not sure why IBFP sucks him off. He has not fought anyone good and isn't interested in fighting Better BF or Bivol. 2024 at 5, and we're still using BoxRec as a valid punch tracker. Who's using BoxRec as a punch tracker? I don't think BoxRec gives you punch stats, but okay. Please understand. Oh, CompuBox is just somebody pressing. So that's it. You said BoxRec, but you mean CompuBox. Well, but then don't use CompuBox to push your narrative. If you're going to use it, be consistent. Me, I consistently fucking say the same thing you say. CompuBox is not legitimate. It's just another opinion. O'Shawn will never give PBC any credit. Bobby, what do you want me to give PBC credit for? Hopefully Taraji wins. Taraji versus Bam will be awesome. I don't know if Taraji would fight Bam right off the bat. I think he might chase after Roman Gonzalez. And then the winner of that would chase on Bam Rodriguez because win, lose, or draw, it's going to be a good last fight of your career, big money fight. And for Bam, right, you know, it is what it is. Who am I looking for? Fucking 140 pounds, right? Fucking Garcia. Oh, BoxRec. Every fucking time it makes me check in again and again. Another reason I hate fucking BoxRec. Why do I need to keep signing in? I fucking signed in. It's not like this is fucking rocket science, for Christ's sake. It's fucking boxing. Give me a fucking break. Come on, you fucking clowns. The WC boxing thing is going to be on tonight as well. Oh my god! And now you're fucking wanting me to pay money. I would never pay money for BoxRec until they fucking clean up their bullshit. Uh, Sean, did you ban me from your channel? No. Or is YouTube acting up? Must be YouTube. Tio's playing games. He never wanted to fight Boots, Devin, or Shakur. I left a comment and it was deleted. Well, depending on what your comment is, yes, YouTube will delete comments. So, I mean, I'm on one social media thing. Is it fucking, what do you call it? WX, and they fucking consistently delete my comments. And I'm like, how you delete my comments when I'm responding to a fucking comment? But there we are. Hold that thought. Where is it? Where's that bum? That bum ass motherfucker. Where is he ranked? He's not even ranked anywhere. His name's not even listed. Is he still listed at 135? Ah, there he is at 26. Fucking BoxRec has Isaac Cruz at 26. Deservedly so. He's shit. Lamont Roach. Like, let's look at this pay-per-view. We don't even know who's on the undercard yet. It's just those guys. What's the undercard? You're hyping it up. Tell me, who's on the undercard of that fight? What do you mean? We know who's on the undercard of Inui versus Junto. It's already listed. BoxRec pound for pound list is really something. It's terrible. Always has been terrible. John Boxing might have deleted it. That guy is one of the biggest cry bullies I've ever seen. That's true too. I've heard about the rumors of Pacquiao Loma, but I thought Pac was fighting Rolly. Well, Rolly is being mandated by the WBA to fight his mandatory, Gisioff. I'd like to see Loma get a payday. He is more than deserving. So excited for Ring 5. The Japanese card will be great. It's going to be great. And we're going to refer to that leading forward at the 135-pound division as well when we move forward. So let's move forward. So here you go. So what's next for these guys? Obviously, Keyshawn, Shakur, two fucking pound-for-pound quality fighters. Really solid guys. As I said, I thought Keyshawn Davis was really on the precipice of becoming the superstar boxer for Top Rank. Until, of course, he fucking pissed on his shoes. We know now there's conversation about Shakur Tio. People just exposed Tio as being full of shit. That fight still hasn't been confirmed one way. It's a phenomenal PBC card. What's a phenomenal PBC card? Janibek, Laura on the undercard, and Roach and Foster. You've never said good things about Janibek in your entire career, and now he's fighting a 42-year-old Cuban. It's good that it's been getting done, all to open the door for a potential Bud Crawford fight. Oshaki Fulton, stylistically, that fight could turn out to be meh. I mean, to say that that's a great pay-per-view card, not one of those fights is pay-per-view. You could say the card as a whole is potentially pay-per-view, but no fucking star fighter on that whole card. No pound-for-pound fighter on that whole card. But I bet you'll shit on the fucking Japanese versus the world card. Because that's the hypocrisy we find from many of you Americans. Thanks, Machado, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. I give Crawford a lot of credit for fighting him. I said before the Canelo-Crawford fight that Janibek would make easy work of Canelo. Salute. Janibek is more dangerous than Canelo at this point. He no longer has more power. No, I think Janibek is totally more dangerous because he's not as flat-footed and economical in his punch output, right? I told you why I thought Crawford would beat Canelo, and that's exactly what happened. Janibek is a guy with a good jab. Canelo had no jab. Janibek is taller and bigger. Canelo is not taller and bigger. He's giving up a huge reach advantage. Janibek can move his feet. Canelo Alvarez can't move his feet. So there's a lot more intrigue in a potential Janibek fight. But it's not a big fight because Janibek is not a big name, even if he's on a PBC card. Hawker, where you been, dog? Evan, you sure? You hate on Crawford for anything he does. Sean is a hater. Why am I a hater, Bobby? You tell me what superstar is on that card and why it deserves to be pay-per-view. The irony, Bobby, is you're shitting on Turki Al-Sheikh for making the zone pay-per-view, but here you are fucking dick riding the PBC. You're the hypocrite. I criticize Turkey for making pay-per-view, and I fucking criticize PBC. I'm consistent. Crawford is 3-time undisputed, and you still constantly call him a hype job. Give it a rest. Evan does hate fucking Crawford. That's true. I don't hate on Crawford. I'm realistic about the level of guys he's fought. He's never fought an elite fighter at their best. It's not his fault. It's just what it is. Shout out to Shakur for doing what Tank does not want to do. He wasn't at his best against Spence and Canelo either, so it's even. Exactly. Sean should have over 1,000 subs. I agree. I should have 7,000 if John didn't get my channel closed down. Right? I had more subs than John, and I would have continued to get more subs, and I would still have more subs than John. Canelo was just a guy with titles. Then Billy, Martinez, and Shiraz would have beaten him worse than Crawford. See, you could say that, but based on what? Martinez, Billy, and fucking Shiraz. Shiraz got beat fucking versus Carlos Adames. Billy fucking looked shit versus fucking Derevchenko. Martinez fucking is an untested fighter whose best performance was a draw versus Billy. Right? Not one of those three guys has proven fucking anything. Shiraz did the most by destroying fucking what's his face, the Puerto Rican kid. But that's speculation. Styles make fights. Crawford is a difficult style. That's why I picked him to win. Canelo was undersized old man with multiple fixed fights. Billy would not beat Canelo. His style would play into Canelo's hands. That's true. PBC didn't come out and tell me they are done with pay-per-views, only to lie. No, PBC's whole platform to start off was against pay-per-view. And then they switched, and now they only do pay-per-view. So, yeah, they did fucking contradict themselves and lie. But then again, you're a PBC shill, so of course you're not going to be honest. So leave that to me to be honest while you expose yourself. Machado, what makes you believe Canelo can KO Billy? Counter puncher, Billy brings the fucking energy right to him. He's open to get hit. It's an easy fight for Canelo because he just needs to fight the way he does. He doesn't need to chase Billy. He just has to do what he does. He's a better defender. He's a better counter puncher. He might get outworked, maybe. Canelo hasn't gotten a KO in 4 years. You don't need to knock Billy out to beat him. Prime Golovkin would have starched Crawford. Sean got 78 sports and bend the knees. You get those LDBC subs. Whatever. That fat bastard. Prime GG's jab was too good. Crawford can't avoid straight punches. It's his kryptonite. 78 refers to Sean as Fig Newton. Yeah, that's okay. I've been referred to Fig Newton my whole life. So when 78 says that, it just shows you that 78 knows who I am. So when people act like, oh, Sean talks about LDBC and they don't even know who he is, that's fucking a blatant lie. The LDBC was created thanks to me. So yes, sorry, that's my cross to bear. It's my fault, sorry. And you'll get invited to the next Wilder meet and greet. Hey, as again, I have no animosity towards anybody, so I have no problem. I don't know if they feel the same. There's some cranky motherfuckers that hold grudges. What did 78 say? He'd invite me to Milwaukee to visit. He'll pay for my plane ticket. I don't need him to pay for my plane ticket, but that's a nice offer. All that to invite me to the fucking cookout. That's nice. I fucking love Black American barbecues and cookouts. Love it. We used to do it in fucking St. Catharines all the time. The only punch Canelo landed on Crawford's head was a straight right hand, and it landed all night. Madrimov did the same thing. like he did to Danny Garcia. Never said he'd KO him. And Billy's just a come forward fighter. Newton gets no push from the algorithm. That's the problem. Sean walking around a Wilder meet and greet would be hilarious. Prime Dan. I like Deontay Wilder, but I can be honest about his career and his whole race thing. It's all fucking bullshit just to fucking market him. Uh, Prime Danny Garcia would starch Crawford, and Billy Martinez Shiraz were the kind of styles that Canelo likes. Inside throwing recklessly. What are you talking about, Evan? Why would Billy outlast and beat up Canelo? Crybaby Richard, aka St. John. Billy beats Canelo easy at this point. Well, so you're just saying fucking he's old. Oh my God, the real Richard Sampson's in the house. All the moan and groan. What happened to the time where this guy was not bad, and now he's just a shill for fucking John Boxing? It's amazing. Sean, when are you going to go on a Mexican boxing fans who only support Mexican fighters? Richard, once again, you just prove you're a fucking clown. I have no problem with black boxing fans only supporting black boxers, but then don't shit on everybody else. And Mexican boxers, boxing fans that only support Mexicans, that's fine. Just don't shit on everybody else. But why do I need to do it? Why is it my job to do your fucking work? I'm doing my work. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch. No one forces you to come to my channel. No one asks you to come to my channel. I fucking literally fucking put you on timeouts and you still come crawling back like cockroaches from under the fridge. Crawford will beat the fuck out of Danny Jacobs. I rock with Jacobs. Prayers for his health. What's wrong with Danny Jacobs' health? Crawford would never beat a prime 190-pound Danny Jacobs. Jacobs' prime was power puncher, long athletic fighter. I think he would outlast Crawford. Sean 78 is like 5'2", 350. Crawford was 140, 147, so you're not making any sense. Canelo's right hand. What about Crawford's combinations? They landed way more. Evan, you dudes, man, let it go. Fucking Bud Crawford beat Canelo and move on to fucking the next fucking things going on in boxing. We fucking got new topics. Yes, you are. Sock puppet account. Yeah, so you should fucking go and hold the LDBC to the same criticism you're throwing at me, but you won't. To be fair, Bud Crawford has always got hit. He got hit by Gamboa. He got hit by fucking Velasquez. He got hit by Canelo. He got hit by Madrimov. I mean, he is not a defense first fighter, which is why I like him, because he's more entertaining, because he's not that kind of fighter. I didn't say you support them, but go fucking hold them to the same criticism you hold me. You want me to be fair? Why don't you be fair? That's all I'm saying. Be fair both ways. But let's move forward, because obviously the biggest question here is the Teofimo Lopez Shakur Stevenson fight going to happen? If Shakur does fight Teo, that's fucking a great opportunity. I mean, let's compare Devin Haney fighting Brian Norman, Shakur fighting Teo. Which one of those victories deserves to raise you into the top 3 pound for pound? Leave in the comment section below. And this is not biased. This is just real boxing talk. I think Devin Haney has a much better resume and has accomplished much more than Shakur Stevenson. But if Shakur goes in and beats Teo, that is a way more legacy victory for him than Devin Haney beating fucking Brian Norman. Shakur would become a 4-weight world champion. Devin Haney 3, right? Like, that's a fight people should be pressing for more. And as mentioned earlier, people think Teo is fucking ducking everyone. I agree. Teo's ducking everybody. How did Crawford expose Canelo? Canelo already got beat by Bivol and fucking Floyd Mayweather. So Crawford didn't expose anything that we didn't already know. But this is you, a real boxing fan, pushing a bullshit narrative again. Yes, Golovkin struggled against a prime fucking Canelo Alvarez, who was much younger than fucking Golovkin. Uh, Canelo got beat by fucking Crawford now that they're both old. But yet one has always been a better mover. The other one's always been flat footed and fucking slow. And that's why people always predicted boxers to beat him. Canelo got beat by the style that people always knew he'd get beat by. It's not about older, it's about style. The same reason people were picking Caleb Plant to beat fucking Canelo Alvarez. Like, you dudes, man, you fucking talk like you're boxing fans, but you're all fucking narrative driven. Narrative driven. You know, you fucking are crapping on Mexicans for loving Mexican fighters, but here you are shitting on a Mexican fighter and saying he's been exposed because he got beat by a boxer. Yeah, Floyd was a boxer. Bivol was a boxer. Crawford was a boxer. All three beat him. So how was he exposed by Crawford? If you say he was exposed by all three of them. Bivol was in the pocket all fucking night, throwing combinations exactly the same as Crawford was. Go watch the fight. Again, you expose your stupidity and fucking racial bias. But I'm not racially biased. I'm a boxing fan. Everyone's biased to a certain degree, of course. Gigi tried to fight Canelo for the third time and looked horrible. Oh my God. Golovkin was fucking well past his best at that time. Struggled in fights with Murata, was fucking a shadow of himself. Like, so I know you don't like Golovkin because he's not black. You don't like Canelo because he's not black. You like Crawford because he represents you. That's fine. But stop. When you open your mouth and say stupid shit, you make yourself look stupid. Yeah, Canelo was pound for pound number one when Bivol beat him. Manny, the most athletic fighter ever. That's why he can compete in the world level in his 40s. David Benavidez was going to knock Canelo Alvarez clean out. Yeah, okay. Bivol was more mid-range. Crawford showed Canelo can be beaten on the inside. Sadly, Richard is right. Wrong. I like GG. He's very entertaining. Stop assuming, English teacher. You're fucking exposing yourself by the things you say. Just because you want to then come out and fucking try to defend yourself. We see the things you said. That speaks volumes. Volumes. But let's stop talking about the same old bullshit. What's wrong with you guys? Crawford, Canelo is the old fucking news. Is the rematch fucking signed? When it's signed, then we can talk about it. At this point, I'm not going to respond to any comments talking about Canelo and Crawford because that fight is irrelevant right now. We're talking about lightweight. Lightweight. So, who's next at lightweight at 135? The next group of top fighters in this division. Already, we have a few fights set up that are going to lead us in this direction. So here we go. Obviously, here you can see the rankings currently for the IBF, WBC, WBA, and WBO. Currently, Shakur Stevenson is the WBC champion. Obviously, when he moves up to 140, that title is going to become vacant. Currently, the IBF title is vacant. Raymond Muratalla is currently the WBO, IBF, WBO title is vacant. IBF title, Raymond Muratalla won that and obviously is due to do a mandatory fight. And Gervonta Davis is obviously going to be stripped of his WBA title when he fights Jake Paul. And he should be stripped because you shouldn't be a world champion if you're taking on fucking social media people at cruiserweight. Obviously, what's being negotiated now, and there's been some conversation about it, Raymond Muratalla, 23-0, taking on Andy Cruz, the 3-time gold medal winning Cuban, who's currently 6-0. I heard people say that Muratalla was ducking this fight. Well, you can't duck a guy when you negotiate, right? They're negotiating the fight, and the guy that walked away from negotiation was Andy Cruz. So if anybody was ducking this fight, it's Andy Cruz, not Muratalla. But apparently they're getting back to the negotiation table. It might go to purse bid. But the problem is, as I mentioned earlier, the reason why it's going to purse bid is because Andy Cruz is pricing himself out. He's not the champion. He hasn't accomplished anything in boxing at this point. He's 6-0. Him expecting to get paid a huge percentage of the pot based on what? Raymond is the champion. He deserves at least 60% of the pot, maybe 65. I'm not sure what the IBF split is. It's not a 50-50 fight financially because Muratalla is the champion. For Andy Cruz, if you want the opportunity to become a champion, you got to fucking take the opportunity given to you. If it goes to purse bid, he's not going to get big money, which is why originally the purse bid sort of fell through. But apparently now the purse bid has been delayed till October 22nd. So hopefully we can get this fixed and finalized. Obviously, it's a great fight. Stylistically, Andy Cruz has become much more of a professional style fighter, right? Which has made him more entertaining, but also more vulnerable. He's gotten hit a lot more, being involved in much more back and forth fights with mediocre competition. Raymond Muratalla actually has went the opposite way. He's become much more of a defense first boxer and not so much of a fucking come forward reckless fighter. So it's going to be an intriguing matchup. Obviously, we know both guys are tall and long. Both guys have good jabs. Obviously, Cruz has a great amateur pedigree, but now he's working with, obviously, Boots' father. So his styles changed a bit more, and he's in a little more and going back and forth, exchanging a lot more. So his fights are far more entertaining than they were when he first came up. But after 6 fights, he still doesn't have, obviously, much professional experience right now, whereas Muratalla has obviously been in with a better opposition and has had more experience as a pro. Is that going to make him win? Well, that's the question, right? Is this too early for Andy Cruz, or is this the perfect opportunity for Andy Cruz to show up and show out? We will see. I think a lot of people dismiss and downplay Muratalla. Muratalla is a fighter that might not be getting all the conversation right now. Obviously, Cruz was getting a lot of talk because of his connection to Shakur Stevenson. And people were saying that Shakur was ducking him. But Andy Cruz still hasn't done anything. If we look at his resume and the level of opposition Andy Cruz has fought, at this point, it's what you expect from a guy with only 6 professional fights. Not that fucking impressive. Obviously, he's getting most of his push because of what he did in the amateurs, right? And that's why, not based on what he's done as a pro, because as a pro, what has he done? Right now, by BoxRec, he's currently ranked 15th. 3 knockouts, so 50% power. He's 30 years old, 5'9". He's fought some good fighters. Obviously, Burgos in his first fight, Giovanni Straffin, not bad, Antonio Moran, right? 3 fighters that people are familiar with. Not elite fighters, not top 20 fighters, but, not bums. And his last fight, he fought a top-ranked Japanese fighter in Mishiro, right? But yet, a lot of these Japanese fighters are domestic-level fighters until they can prove that they're more than that. He got stopped in 5 rounds, proving that he wasn't as good as Burgos, Rodriguez, or fucking Gemez, all fighters that obviously went the distance with him. Where are we? You guys are really going back and forth. Catterall is now working with Boots' father as well. So that's a good fight. For Muratalla, what's he done? Obviously, 17 knockouts in 23 fights, a good knockout percentage. What's that? 74%, 5'8" with a 72-inch reach. So he's not going to be giving up much reach to Andy Cruz, right? And both of them are pretty tall and long for a 135-pound division. When you think about who he's fought, obviously he's been in with far more opponents. Obviously, he just beat Zaur Abdurev to win that title. Prior to that, Campos, Tevin Farmer, Zhang Jenny. He's kind of walking the Devin Haney footsteps, right? Facing Abdurev and Zhang Jenny. Diego Nunez, who was undefeated. Obviously, his first really big fight was when he fucking beat Jeremiah Nakatila, the African fighter who went the distance with Shakur Stevenson and really made Shakur looked bad because you could see Shakur was sort of uncomfortable with his awkwardness and his power. Whereas he went in there and destroyed him in 2 fucking rounds. Prior to that, Roberto Galindo, a tough fighter, stopped him in 9. Miguel Contreras, Jeremy Hill. Yeah, so he's been in with good opponents for a long time, dating back probably to 2020. So for the last 5 years, he's been in with really quality opposition. Why do we want to see Layla Ali fight fucking Clarissa Shields? See, again, people trying to clout chase off of other people. You're trying to fucking pull a woman who's been retired from boxing for 18 fucking years, and somehow that's going to make you the GOAT. Man, if that's all Clarissa Shields could do, she fucking should just retire, because obviously there's nothing worth doing in her career if she's got to fucking fight Ali's daughter just because of the name Ali, and the girl's been almost retired for 20 fucking years. Before Clarissa Shields was even fighting, Layla Ali was retired already. Psh, it's sad and sick, man. Sad and sick. But let's move forward. In this fight, I think it's a great fight, a 50-50 fight. I don't know who I'd pick right now. I kind of need to go back and look at a couple fights and sort of break it down stylistically to see who I favor. But I'm not angry if people are favoring Andy Cruz. Obviously, Andy Cruz was a historically great amateur fighter, right? When we look at guys like Lomachenko and Rigo, we saw how well they've transitioned to the pros and how exceptional they did. But you also had fighters like Robsy Ramirez and others who didn't transition so well and haven't lived up to that expectation. So you never really know how great somebody's going to be until the fight gets done. They're talking about Clarissa and Layla Ali because fucking Clarissa came out with that stupid fucking ploy offering $15 million for Layla Ali. I mean, all because she's trying to compete with fucking the real women pound for pound superstar of women's boxing, Katie Taylor, a woman who does it legitimately. She's fighting legitimate great opposition. Unfortunately for Clarissa, there is no legitimate great opposition in her fucking fat ass weight division. So she's fighting bum ass old women, acting like she's fucking a superstar, and now calling out a fucking almost 50-year-old. That's like fucking who? Anui calling out me, thinking that Anui's going to make his name by beating me. It's like, what? Really? Yeah, okay. Good luck with that. Yeah, you're a superstar because you beat a 50-year-old. Kind of like Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson. So Jake Paul should be fucking pound for pound top 10. But this is another fight that's obviously scheduled on that David Benavidez, Devin Haney fight. And this is a great fight, right? Obviously, 2 undefeated up-and-coming fighters. Abdullah Mason, 19-0, 17-0, 17 knockouts. The guy that most people feel is the best up-and-coming young American fighter in boxing today, right? And then, of course, you have Sam Noakes, 17-0 with 15 KOs, who at this point, I don't know how legitimate he is. He might just be one of those domestic-level UK fighters who, when he steps up, might be exposed. Or he might be the real deal. Remember, Subriel Matias fought the tough Australian fighter. Nobody was really sold on that guy. And then he went in there and fucking boxed circles around Subriel Matias and became the IBF world champion, right? So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Obviously, it's a great matchup. And for Abdullah Mason, he can become a one-weight world champion by beating Sam Noakes. After that, it'll be interesting to see how long he can stay at 135. He's a big kid as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him develop and grow out of that division pretty quickly. But, you know, you could have fights with him against the winner of Cruz Muratalla. That would be a great opponent. You also have potentially the other weight class belts that are probably going to be vacated coming up soon. And you're going to have vacant champions like maybe who? Let's see. Here's another top-level opponent, Japanese. We got to put the Japanese up-and-comer here. 9-0, 5 KOs. Tiaga Imaga is taking on Amando Martinez Rabi, 17-0, 15 KOs. It's amazing, of course. People will shit on the Japanese fighter fighting this guy, but then I'm sure they will dick ride and fucking hype up Abdullah Mason for fighting a guy who is identical, right? The Bivol is injured. He's hurt. He just had surgery. How can he be a duck when you fought Better Biev in back-to-back fights and literally had several surgeries on your body, right? Once again, this exposes this racial double standard that so many of these YouTube boxing commentators have, right? It's amazing. Bud Crawford literally fights once a year, but you're going to go in on Bivol because he's inactive because he's had surgeries. Let's see what Bivol does when he comes back, as opposed to looking for reasons to fucking dick ride David Benavidez right now. But this is a good fight. Obviously, the winner of this potentially could be elevated in the rankings. Let's look at these rankings right now. So there we go. The current rankings right now, Muratalla Andy Cruz is number 1. Schofield is under that. None of those guys are ranked. Gervonta Tank Davis, Schofield is right there. Shakur Stevenson, you got the rankings right there. There's Amando Rabi, who's number 13 in the rankings right there. And then, of course, you got Abdullah Mason, Sam Noakes, 1 and 2. So Abdullah Rabi, the opponent for the Japanese up-and-comer, is number 13 by the WBC, which is going to be a vacated title. And obviously, Andy Cruz is not going to be fighting for that title. The question is, who is? Maybe Zepeda versus Jadier Herrera. That would be a great fight. I don't know about Ricardo Nunez if he's going to get an opportunity. I would expect that Zepeda obviously gets a chance for sure. We also have Gervonta Davis's title. Schofield is probably going to fight Lucas Baddy to win that title. And there you have Amando Rabi, who's right there at number 4. So if the Japanese kid beats him, obviously he's going to jump right in there. Schofield is going to become champion. Cruz is obviously going to be fighting for the IBF title. So he's going to jump in to number 1 or 2 and put himself in position to become a potential mandatory opponent, right? Look at you guys. Parker Wardley, that's a great fight. Great fight. So there you are, Rabi, ranked in 2 of the sanctioning bodies. Obviously, for this young Japanese fighter, he's going to put himself into mandatory position if he beats Rabi for the WBC title or WBA. I can't remember which one it was. Then, of course, you got Schofield, who probably is going to fight Lucas Baddy to become the WBA champion, right? And then you have Zepeda, who, as I said, is probably going to be elevated by the WBC. So when you think about the winner of Muratalla and Cruz, obviously Abdullah Mason, Schofield, Zepeda, right? Obviously, we don't have the superstar fighters anymore at 135, but the new crop of fighters that are going to be moving up are entertaining. Zepeda, great knockout puncher. Schofield, great knockout puncher. Abdullah Mason, great knockout puncher. Muratalla is a very good knockout puncher. If he beats, obviously, Cruz, that's a historically great win for him. If Cruz wins, he's not a knockout puncher, but of all these guys, he's the most established as far as with pedigree. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. I like Schofield's dad because he beats women too. Schofield seems way more talented than Shakur, more dynamic and explosive, even though he blatantly ducked Shakur. If you were a hater, you could say Usyk fought a washed-up Fury who had just argued. Oh, my God. Usyk fought AJ, beat him twice, beat Fury, beat him twice. The same Fury that fucking destroyed Deontay Wilder, your fucking favorite fighter, and then beat Daniel Dubois, even though you guys said Daniel Dubois got robbed and deserved the rematch and was going to destroy Usyk in the rematch, only to get beat easier in the rematch. So stop. If you're trying to find reasons to downplay and dismiss fucking Usyk, you just expose your fucking racial bias, but thanks. Moses fighting a 132-year-old in Pulev. No, Bobby, he's not. Pulev is the world champion, the WBA regular champion, and he's been ordered to fight Moses, but he already has a fight set to fight Gassiev. And for Moses, a 20-year-old to fight for the WBA regular title, is that any different than Tank Davis fighting a fucking 132-year-old fucking Eureka's Gamboa to win the WBA regular title? Answer that question, Bobby. Be legitimate. Because Tank Davis wasn't fucking 20 when he fought Gamboa. He was like fucking what? 25, 26. And already had been a world champion 2 times. For Tomo, the kid's 20, man. He doesn't need to be fast-tracked. He's 20 years old. To give him that WBA title, it's good. Now you can say he's a world champion, even though it's not a legitimate champion. It's a good first step. And it puts him in position to fight for the WBA super title down the road. Now he boosts who? I'm boosting the WBA regular? Me? No, I'm not. Not at all. How do you get that out of my comments? A bunch of overly sensitive Canelo Alvarez fans. Oh my God, are we still talking about Canelo? Let's move past it. One day before the fight comes on, man, they probably got paid a lot, then chickened out. BDA is becoming woke. Oh, he does live in Canada. Fucking Canadians, man, fucking are becoming cringe hard. You don't think I'm grasping your point? I don't know. What's your fucking point, Jay? That you're finding ways to discredit Usyk? Like, I'm not trying to discredit Crawford, just like I'm not trying to discredit Usyk. They are the 2 best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. Whichever one you want to put number 1, that's fine. Unlike John Boxing, I don't need to push a racial narrative. If you want Crawford number 1, I get it. If you want Usyk number 1, I get it. At number 3 and 4, you got Inouye and Bivol. They've done exactly what they need to do to fucking prove themselves and put themselves in that conversation. From 5 down, it's a mix. There's lots of fighters that are in the conversation. You just got to see who looks hotter right now, who's doing more presently. Canelo obviously drops down the list, but then you still have Junto, Bam Rodriguez, Shakur, Devin Haney, right, that are all in that conversation. I don't think David Benavidez is anywhere near that list, but Zurdo obviously is breaking onto that list. You know, obviously I thought Kenshiro Taraji was there early in the year, but he just got beat, so he falls off the list. So from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those bottom 6 positions, you could put whoever you want. There's a big group of fighters that deserve praise. So pick who you want. Higa and Nonito Donaire, that's a good fight. Both guys are washed past their best, but at this point, solid. BoxRec has Junto pound for pound. Yes, Bobby, but no one ever follows BoxRec's pound for pound list. So come on. They have Usyk like at 14. I never watched fucking Danny Garcia. I don't care. LWC logic, Tank can do whatever he wants, but we can't. Well, that's consistently been the logic of boxing. Remember Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather could fight only in-house fights against Robert Guerrero, fucking Ortiz, and a bunch of other fucking overrated bum-ass fighters. And then, of course, if Pacquiao did the same thing, he was criticized for it. And then they would say Pacquiao wasn't fighting any slick black fighters. But neither was Floyd. Pacquiao's on PEDs. But he never failed to fucking test like Floyd did. He never got caught with a fucking illegal IV in his arm, right? It's the double standard goes back so far. You know, when you look at those old comedies when they talk about Marciano and Joe Louis and how they don't want to give Marciano credit because Joe Louis was 150. But yet Joe Louis gets credit, yet he literally is known for fighting Bum of the Month Club to get his 25 heavyweight title defenses. So where's the consistency? The consistency is there is no fucking consistency. Fans are biased as fuck. Danny Garcia was not an amazing 140-pounder. He fucking ducked Broner, ducked Crawford, Man, the only big win he had was against fucking Matias, a man who never became a world champion. I got a bunch of hate on BDA when I said Chocolatito is greater than Canelo. I think Chocolatito is better than Canelo. Easily better. Is he more accomplished than Canelo? Maybe not. Maybe not. But what he did was fantastic. Four-weight world champion, great resume. Fucking should have two legitimate wins versus fucking a pound for pound potential Hall of Famer, right? And then obviously tons of other world champions that were great fighters as well. Sean, is Otani guy, the Dodgers, the best baseball player ever? He's beating teams by himself, literally. Otani, definitely the best baseball player of all time. I'm a huge Barry Bonds fan, but Barry Bonds wasn't going out there pitching 6 innings, striking out 10 fucking guys, and hitting 3 home runs in the same day. Like Reggie Jackson. I love Reggie Jackson growing up as well. Obviously, I'm old. Reggie Jackson was called Mr. October because of the home runs he hit for the Yankees in October in the World Series and the playoffs. Otani just went out there, pitched 6 2/3 inning, got 10 KOs, got the win, and hit 3 fucking home runs to win the series and go to the World Series. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Got robbed against Estrada, got robbed in the first fight versus Rungvisai, like blatantly robbed. I got a video. Is it on this channel or my old channel? Like literally, he easily won that fight. He didn't lose to Rungvisai. The rematch he lost, but then there's lots of issues involved in why he got beat in the rematch. Headbutts, his trainer had died, obviously coming off of his first career loss, right? There's a lot of different things that potentially mentally had him not at his best. You can argue Chaco beat Estrada in the third fight too. Estrada dominated the first half of the fight. Chaco dominated the second half of the fight. Estrada. Well, I felt Estrada won the third fight and did it pretty convincingly. But I feel that Roman Gonzalez won the second fight far more convincingly than he did the first fight. Like that was by far his best performance, which is why I felt pretty confident in the third fight, thinking he's just going to keep doing what he did. But obviously there was quite a bit of a slip from the second fight to the third. He definitely did not fight nearly as well. Now that Cooper Flag is in the league, I'm expecting a lot more NBA videos from you, Sean. I have an NBA channel. You should go to the NBA channel, Sean on Basketball. The young foundational white American about to take over the league and already getting hated on. Was getting hated on when he was at Duke. It's going to be like Caitlin Clark. People cannot accept a white player being fucking great, right? Just like people can't accept that fucking Shohei Ohtani is great. They're trying to find reasons to downplay these fighters or these players because they're just not black. These players being great doesn't diminish all the great black players that came before them, just like boxing today, right? You still have historically fucking great boxers. Their fucking legacy is not being fucking hurt based on Inouye and Usyk and Roman Gonzalez and Lomachenko. They're still legends. And what they did is still legendary. At least I won't have to sit through your WNBA Caitlin Clark videos. Well, is that because there's no more WNBA? Hey, man, Caitlin Clark, fucking the hate and bullshit she got thrown at her. Crazy. Crazy. But let's keep moving. So here I have 3 up-and-comers from the division. Yes, they're women. That's true. But the only person that made women's basketball relevant was Caitlin Clark. So you got Alan Abel Chavez, 21-0, 18 KOs. I know you guys probably never heard of him. The next great lightweight Argentinian fighter. Canada's very own Lucas Bad Eye, 20-0, 15 KOs. And Cuba's exciting fighter, Hadia Herrero, 17-15. I mean, these guys might not become superstars or world champions, but I would love to see them in fights against any of the top fighters and world champions in 2026. Herrera's a good fighter. Very exciting. A Cuban fighter, but much more of an aggressive Cuban. Well, yes, he's PBC, isn't he? That's probably why he's not active. Trump is still way better than Genocide Joe, who is horrible on every issue. Uh, I had Irish people last night telling me that the whole fucking Palestine Israel thing is Trump's fault. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Trump wasn't in power when fucking that whole skirmish started. Joe Biden was in power. The fact that now it's got slowed down and stopped, who knows for how long, is thanks to Trump and his relationship with the fucking Middle East, bringing Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar into the conversation to help negotiate with Palestine and Hamas, right? If he didn't have a good relationship with those Middle Eastern countries, this deal would not have fucking been done. He's trying to make the Middle East peaceful and business oriented to build Saudi Arabia, Qatar, just like the UAE, and bring that into Palestine, where everyone's going to make money, tourism is going to flourish, and the world's going to be a better fucking place. But people still hating on him. It's crazy. Can't believe it. Make a political channel, Sean. I need to get to the bottom of this Israel shilling. Me? I'm not an Israel shill, just like I'm not a Canelo shill. You got to ask yourself why before 2 years ago, when Hamas attacked Israel, no one was talking about or protesting this fucking back and forth between the countries. Only 2 years ago, when Hamas created this issue, now everybody's on top of this topic. They're so afraid of genocide, but they're not talking about Nigeria, right? They only pick and choose because they're being directed and funded by Soros. Soros fucking is behind all of this, and people ignore it. Literally, the left ignores the fact that all these fucking protesters are fucking bought and paid for. Don't even know what they're protesting. Don't care. Some of them are getting paid $80,000 a year to be head fucking protesters, to lead this shit. $80,000 a year. I don't understand, Sean, why women with large beat up donut holes have high expectations for men. Because men are shit. Men are the problem. Men are fucking hateful. Men fucking have caused all the problems in the world, and women are the solution and fucking are perfect and God's creatures. But that's not true. Men were created by God, who gave a rib to create women, who used that rib to fucking stab and kill men and ruin our legacy and fucking take down Christian countries. Thank you, fucking women. Right? Women are the fucking ones creating all this fucking world problems. Right? Try having a conversation with a woman about fucking Palestine and Israel. 100% you're going to fucking have people that are fucking anti-Israel, anti-Jews, and pro-fucking Hamas terrorists. Crazy. I told him already, Sean, on news, or Sean on politics. I have to retract my statement about Cooper Flagg's FWA status. He might be a descendant of immigrants in the 20s. Nobody's a fucking foundational fucking resident unless they're Aboriginal. 173 is better than any boxing card I've seen this year. Women should not be allowed to vote for obvious reasons. It's men's fault for listening to women. Well, it's not listening. This is the problem with Christianity society. We try to open the doors and be accepting of everybody, only to get shit on by everybody. The world's better now than it's ever been, but we're bigger racists now, apparently, than we ever were. We fucking are anti-feminist, even though women have more power and opportunity than they ever had. We fucking let Muslims come in and ruin our country, but then we fucking hate fucking everybody else that's not the same as us, right? If we were like Muslims, none of this shit would be happening. Women would fucking sit down and shut up. Every fucking black person would fucking turn to my religion and agree with everything I said. And fucking, and we'd hate everybody that didn't believe the same thing we believed. And peace would be in our nation. Too many Jezebels out there. They wonder why men don't want to date. That's right. The corporate media is not covering the Nigerian genocide of Christians. Of course they're not, because they don't care about Christians. They're like trying to ruin Christian countries. And that includes fucking Black American Christian countries. So it's not a race thing. Race is just being used to fucking blind us to the bigger fucking issue. the bigger issue. But let's move forward. So, who will be the one to take over the 135-pound division in 2026? Leave your comment below. I assume the majority of you will probably say Abdullah Mason. And truth be told, Abdullah Mason definitely has the highest ceiling and is the guy that I'm expecting to potentially try to become undisputed at 135. We'll see if he can do it. We'll see if the politics of boxing allow him to do it. Because even if he does it, Top Rank and Bob Arum are still going to be hated on as being fucking anti-Black American and never fucking benefit Black Americans. Because we heard this all the time about Bud Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis. You know, it doesn't matter how well somebody does under Top Rank's promotion. A racial component always needs to be fucking implemented. Sean, if you woke up next to a Black woman, I bet you stopped drinking for a while. Huh? Bobby, I probably slept with more Black women than you have. So yes, I've woken up beside plenty of Black women. And stopped drinking. I never was a big drinker. I had 6 beers last night, which for me is more than normal and probably more than I'll drink until December. But yeah, I never drank a lot. I drink, but I just drink 2 or 3 drinks. I don't get drunk. I saw a funny meme, a woman praying to God and asking for a good man. Then God says, I sent you 6. You messed up all of them. I'm done. Well, that's like that great statement where a guy was telling the joke and it was like a panel of men and 1 Black woman. And at the end of the joke, all the guys are laughing and they look at the girl and they say, so what do you think? And she's like, huh? Basically proving everything the joke had to say. Women are never fucking satisfied. I remember when Newton was a Barack Obama supporter. I wasn't a Barack Obama supporter. Stop lying. I said, I think it's good that America has a Black president because that will potentially stop a lot of this bullshit racial divide conversation. Actually getting Obama in power basically created more racial divide. Literally before Obama, there was less racial issues in America than there are post-Obama. So in hindsight, Obama was a terrible fucking selection for president because he did not bring the country together. He divided the country. But at the time, I thought it would be great to have a woman and a Black man as the president of the country. 135 is a weight bully startup division. Weight bully? Come on. A lot of married single white women are going to Nigeria. I hope they're not Christian because if they are, they're fucked. They better marry that Nigerian Black dude. Yeah, Obama is a race hustler. The LDBC fucking just learned from him and took that to fucking the YDBC. See, I don't care if white women want fucking big Black dick. That's their choice. They can do what they want. But the problem is, do you need to fucking ruin your country in the process? And if you are marrying Muslims, I hope you know what that's going to fucking cost you in the future. Because all the fucking shit you pushed, in the end, you're going to fucking have it rubbed in your face like a big ass grapefruit. Working, no working. Women's rights, no women's rights. Shut up. Cover your face. Don't talk. Men are talking. You sit down. Be quiet. Have babies. But if all you want is a big Black cock, suit yourself. That's fine. You can do what you want. I live in Asia. I'm chasing Asian girls. So who am I to complain about white girls chasing Black guys? We each got our fetish, so feed it. But I mean, isn't it funny that when Black guys are having sex with white girls, it's not called fetishizing. But yet, if I'm chasing Asian girls, it's all fetish, right? Actually, I'm looked down at because I'm chasing Asian girls. I'm not being built up because I'm, intermingling and bringing races together. I'm fucking looked at negatively because I'm chasing Asians. So it's just a fetish. But how come Black guys or white girls aren't doing the same thing? So in 1960 in America, 1960s in America, Bobby, you weren't born in 1960 America, so you don't really have shit to say about it. Because what do you know? Sweet fuck all. Back in 2013 in Kenya, Al Shabaab gunned down 75 students in a school for being Christian. No, I mean, throughout Africa right now, there's a big push. Northern Africa is all going to be Muslim. And that's going to fucking gradually move down towards South Africa and all the rest of Africa. Don't be surprised if by 2040, all of Africa is Muslim. Right? Middle East, all Muslim. Europe is fucking becoming pushed towards all Muslim. The push is for the world to become Muslim dominated. China, they fucking imprison Muslims, so they're fucking not playing that game. Japan is kicking Muslims out. Australia is going to be taken over because they're Christian and we are too easy to manipulate. Russia is going to fucking say, fuck Muslims. They're not going there. So soon there's going to be like China and Russia where are going to be Muslim free. The two communist countries that fucking don't get hated on, right? For being fucking evil. But Trump in America gets hated on because they are more fucking open. I don't know if Danny won. I don't care. His career is done. I don't care what happens with him. Tito Garcia, who's totally a fucking alcoholic, calling me an alcoholic, but he's dead. So I guess that tells us who was a fucking drug-using alcoholic and who wasn't. Apparently that was him, not me. I'm still alive, and I still have all my hair. That bald motherfucker was jealous because I had hair, and he was an old, bald, fucking miserable motherfucker who looked at gay porn in his fucking free time. No, Islam is pushing into Muslim. It's the fastest growing religion in Japan. But now they just got a conservative female president who's deporting all those fuckers. Left-wing feminism and Muslim culture go together like oil and water. They don't mix. But this stupid fucking female left-wing feminism are the ones that are opening the door for fucking Muslim culture. Imagine that. Imagine that. Sean, do you keep in touch with your old Jamaican brethren from Canada that you left behind to chase Taiwanese chicks? A few, right? My friend Shakes, another friend that is like a cameraman for, I don't know if he's still working with CBC, but he was for a while. But obviously I moved to Vancouver, right? So after I moved to Vancouver for 10 years, I'm not in touch as much as I once was when I was living in Toronto. And even when I finished high school, I went to St. Catharines to play basketball, volleyball, and go to university. So at that point also, I wasn't in touch with as many guys as I obviously was before. Sean, have you ever had Jamaican food? What are you talking about? I'm from fucking Toronto. Every day at fucking lunch, I ate patty and cocoa bread, fucking ginger beer, and a fucking coconut tart. That was my go-to lunch consistently throughout fucking high school. And I think it cost me $2.50. $2.50 fucking cents. My friend, he was the good cook in his family. 4 brothers, and his mom. Dad's still in Jamaica. So the brothers would clean and he would cook oxtail, curry chicken, red snapper. So I would go to his house, eat all the time, call my grandmother and say, I'm staying at Bobby's tonight, and smoke fat ones, hit on his next door neighbor, and fucking just eat dinner there. So I ate Jamaican food so much in high school. The worst thing about moving to Vancouver and St. Catharines is that there was no fucking Jamaican food. And obviously there's no Jamaican food in Taiwan either. Jamaican food's the best. Jamaican food's great. 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 I sound like fucking Tony the Tiger. Great. The controllers of so-called Western nations actually hate Christianity the most, and the white race. Well, that's true with the UN. Like Trump called them out, and that's fucking proven to be 100% correct. I had an Irish guy yesterday that I know shitting all over the UK fucking Irish government, and then going on Trump. And I'm like, you do realize you want Trump and Britain to support the UN. But the reason your country is the way it is now is because of the fucking UN. Many boxers eat Jamaican food after a workout. Eating dry moose in Canada. Dry moose. Well, there's a restaurant. If you drive from Toronto and you go to the lakes, the lake districts north of Toronto, maybe 2 hours up, in between going towards Barrie or somewhere, there's like a restaurant and it's got a bridge. So regardless of what way of the highway you're going, you can fucking go to it. And they had moose burgers, right? So every summer when you're going to the lakes, that's the place you'd stop off so you could eat moose burgers, right? Because that was, it's not that you couldn't get moose burgers otherwise, but most time you were eating moose burgers if you had friends that were hunters. You weren't really getting moose burgers in Toronto. But this place you'd always go to because you could get moose burgers on the way to the fucking lakes. Jesus Christ is mocked more than anyone. True. Kirk Day. Wow. Kirk Day should be a holiday, just like fucking Martin Luther King Day. Bison burgers are delicious. I've heard that. And what's the desert? What do they call it? Desert oysters. I've never ate desert oysters, but apparently some people do. Here in America, we have to get rid of these 80, 90-year-olds in office. Well, that's true fucking in every country, right? But what's desert oysters? Bison testicles. You know, I think Charlie Kirk is a martyr. This is a guy that wasn't pushing hate, but of course the left wing fucking says he was pushing hate, but they can't show you one fucking video post of him saying anything hateful, right? It's just a typical media spin on shit. Kirk was a Christian, and that's the problem. Fucking liberals hate fucking Christians. They all want to be fucking communist. If you're communist, there is no religion, so they should also hate Muslims as well and Jews as well. I mean, if you're going to be a fucking communist, you got to hate all the fucking religions, just like fucking Russia and China. Old corrupted people are ruining the world. Yeah, but that's always been the situation. Billionaire fucking rich fucking old people dictate the world. And what's going on now, George Bush Sr. told you about it in the fucking 90s. New World Order. I played the song the other time by fucking Ministry. New World Order, New World Order. George Bush Sr. told you this was going to happen. We fucking made songs about it. We talked about it. Yet now today, fucking people are like, oh, it's so hard to be a black man. Oh, white people hate us. Yet we're all being fucking screwed over, regardless of what color you are. Mexican, black, Aboriginal, fucking white, Asian. We're all being fucked over by the same people that are fucking taking over the whole world and pushing in New World Order. We're all going to have digital fucking IDs. If you say something they don't like, your money's going to be frozen. You can't buy a house. You can't take a trip. Carbon footprint bullshit is going to be fucking stuck on you. So you can't buy any more pork. You know, like the world's all moving in the same direction. And this was talked about in the fucking 90s. And I'm sure some people were talking about it even before that. Bernie Sanders is a fucking communist. Government more money will solve everything. Since when has fucking government with more money solved anything? All it does is fucking control the population. That's why conservatives, small government is the way to go. You don't want the government controlling fucking anything except international. That's it. Local government should control fucking everything locally. If you have abortion in your state, it should be a local fucking government fucking issue, not a federal government. Because different religions control different fucking states and different people have different fucking beliefs. If you're from the West Coast, obviously you're a fucking crazy liberal fucking mental case. Midwest, East Coast, North, South, people are going to have different perspectives, right? More black communities, more white communities, more Asian, right? You know, you let local government control all that shit. Found out truth about Ricky Hatton's death. I was disappointed that he killed himself. Yeah. I was a white kid. I had been a black kid who did that to Charlie, it would have been the end of days. Come on, man. Ricky Hatton, you're just proving my point, Bobby. Imagine if a white guy had killed Martin Luther King. Imagine. Imagine. Ricky Hatton did that, so did Gaddy, and his son just found the same way. It's probably CTC or whatever we call it. Those old casting policies from 1910s will fix 2025, so they have to go. No more pork. Apparently in Canada, you can't send pork fucking to school because it makes some people feel uncomfortable. Trump trying to use Bitcoin and gold to erase the debt. I need my bacon. Oh, fucking bacon is the best, man. What we got to do is make sure pork and dogs are everywhere, and that will keep the Muslims away. They hate dogs. Imagine when they're in power, they're going to make it illegal to have a pet dog. Can't have a pet dog. Imagine. Imagine the world we're getting pushed to. Right? When you watch movies of 1984 and those things, nobody fucking has a dog. New Age strategies, hope it works. If the guy that shot Kirk was black, America, oh my God, stop. See, look who's fucking making it racial. JA and fucking. Why do you need to fucking surmise if and if? Black people killed plenty of fucking white people. That's not the issue. You're proving my point. Guys like you are so fucking infatuated with the poor black man issue, you fucking miss out on the whole fucking global issue. Because you, like all the other young people in the world, are selfish cunts that only worry about yourself. What about your kids? What about your family, your grandparents, your mom and dad, uncles and aunts, nephews? What's wrong with you? How do we keep Muslims out of the government? Don't let them in the country. If you're an immigrant, you cannot be elected as a fucking representative of the thing. You need to be born in America. Even then, you're gonna have Muslims born in that fucking have been jihadied fucking into power. But that's why you fucking don't let, like India. India's fucking president said, if you have more than 30% Muslim population in your country, you're gonna have a problem. He said it. And people said, that's kind of blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, it's true. You don't want Muslims to have population where they can fucking have power. When they don't have power, it's fine. When they have enough power, you get Dearborn, Michigan, where fucking people are getting woken up at 5 a.m. by fucking Muslim calls. Are black Muslims a threat? Muslims are a threat. Doesn't matter what color they are. White, Chinese, black, fucking they're all a threat. They're Muslims. I'm black, but man, we bring race where it does not need to be, then complain about like a victim. That's the problem. And this is media. Like I said, before Obama, this was not such a fucking issue. All our TV shows were fucking black families, and all our top fucking musicians and actors, like number one, were black fucking musicians and black actors like Will Smith. There wasn't a big racial component. People love Michael Jordan. People watch sports. And then you have Obama, and now all of a sudden America is more racist now than it's ever been. Obama got fucking elected. And the majority of people electing him were fucking white. It's crazy. Charlie Kirk was a free speech supporter, white Christian man, and that's why he's hated. And a few days after he pushed back on Israel, he was assassinated. Damn. How do you see Lubin against Ortiz going on? How likely versus Boots, Virgil, 2026? It's not that I don't think Lubin has a chance. Of course he does, because he's an experienced fighter, been in with good opponents. But I think Ortiz is going to stop him late. And then Boots versus Virgil in 2026. If you follow DAZN, Matchroom, and Golden Boy, the fight sure as hell is going to happen in 2026. But if you follow Virgil's team, there's no fucking way it's going to happen. Because they act like fucking their promoter didn't already come to terms with Matchroom and fucking DAZN. He did. They fucking negotiated the fight. everybody came to terms except for Virgil's fucking manager, who, is a bit of a prick. Saudi Arabia, UAI, Dubai remove fundamental Islamists from their society. And that's what you got to do. That's why Saudi Arabia, UAI, and Dubai are fucking reaping the rewards of financial freedom, doing great financially, have tons of tourism, right? Those countries are not being fucking indoctrinated by fucking fundamental Islam. No fundamental fucking religion should ever have a fucking foot in government and control. Not fucking Christians, not Jews, not fucking Muslims. I'm too biased for everybody here. I see the world from a holistic point of view. That's why I make 90% of jokes on time. Most people are bots, black and white. Holistic. Okay, Jay, how old are you? Fucking 12? Pork and bacon are not kosher. I gotta feel Boots gonna fight Abbas next. Yeah, he could fight Abbas next to win the WBA title. That doesn't mean that in 2026 we can't get a Virgil Boots fight. Bacon is yummy. All this talk about bacon, I just want to fucking cook up some bacon in my air fryer. Iran hates Saudi Arabia. Yeah, of course they do. Because Iran is fucking a militant fucking Islamic state and the problem with fucking the world, right? They should have fucking dropped a nuke on fucking Iran. And the truth is, it's not Iranian people. It's fucking the fundamental government. Zionists control America. Yeah, people have been saying that for fucking years. But the truth is, do they? If they did, would America's media, which they fucking control, be putting such a fucking anti-Zionist perspective out consistently? Hollywood, controlled by Zionists, is being hated on. Jews are being hated on more by fucking Hollywood fucking people as well now. I don't know if that's true anymore. At one time, I think the financial aspect was controlled by Zionists, but now I don't know. Big back Sean, they actually do. Sean J, what's they actually do? What does that mean? Sean, so Canada isn't producing any more Canadian bacon? Of course they are. What do you mean? No, it's just one Canadian guy was on social media talking about how the teacher sent like an email to all the parents saying that please don't send pork products for kids' lunches because some people are feeling uncomfortable. So don't eat my fucking sandwich. Just like peanut butter and jam. Can you imagine being a kid that grew up in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and the school said you can't bring peanut butter and jam to school? What? What are you, fucking mental? I'm going to bring what I want to school. How can you ban food from fucking my lunch? If you're fucking allergic, go eat fucking in an isolated room by yourself in a bubble. Fuck off. Historically, we know how the world treated people like that. They died, and then fucking genetically, this was not an issue anymore because it was bred out of fucking humanity. If you don't like pork, you can die, and genetically your pork phobia will fucking be bred out. If you can't eat peanuts, you will die, and then nobody else will fucking have issues like that. You can't drink milk, you die, and then fucking the next generation doesn't have these milk issues. Like when I was a kid, I never, ever heard someone complain about milk, peanuts, fucking any of this shit. Ever. Ever. BFTB is a Zionist. BFTB? He's a fucking crackhead. I don't know about a Zionist, but okay. Are you going to do a 2025 boxing award show? No, I don't really care about that shit. Other channels do that. For me, what do you want to know? Fight of the year was fucking Kensho Taraji versus Akui for unification. Knockout of the year, I don't know. I can't even remember what the best knockout was. Fighter of the year has to be fucking Inui. Guy had 4 fucking, depending on what he does in December, 4 fucking victories in 1 year, right? Not to dismiss Bud Crawford, he had one great win. One great win. Greatest comeback, Wardley versus Hooney. I don't think that's the greatest comeback. I think Kensho Taraji's 12th round knockout of Akui to become a unified champion was greater than Worley versus Hooney, because Akui was up on the cards. If he would have survived the 12th round, he would have became the unified champion. But he got knocked out in the 12th round, giving fucking Kenshio Taraji not only unification, but also a leg up in the pound for pound conversation. Thomas Jefferson was right. We shouldn't let the banks have control. Of course not. Should never let banks control. But we did. Now New World Order is here. John Boxing still don't get it. Right? And that was the fundamental thing. Like, think about America. You buy your money from a bank, from the Federal Reserve. What do you mean you buy your money? You're the fucking government. You should create your money. Why are we starting at a deficit? Literally everything starts at a deficit because you borrowed the money. Fucking, what a bunch of bullshit. So when people are anti-Jews historically because of this system, I get it. Because the only religion that could lend money were Jews. Muslims and Christians couldn't lend out money because it went against their religion, thus opening up the control for the Jews to control all the financial aspects of the world. This is why so many people are anti-Jew. I'm not, but I understand the perspective, because this has nothing to do with 90% of Jewish people around the world. They're not the ones in control. Just like all these people that talk about fucking black people deserve to be paid reparations and this and that. They were fucking black slave owners. So who deserves to get money back, and who's going to pay? I'm from Canada. My family didn't have slaves. Joe Biden supported Benjamin Netanyahu 100%. Donald Trump supports Benjamin Netanyahu even more. Well, he supports him, but at the same time, when he did something against Qatar, Trump fucking jumped on them and said, hey, don't fucking do that. Trump fucking, I think, wants good relationships for business. And you understand, having the Jewish state in the middle of this is fundamental. It's important, right? You don't have a Christian state, but you can have them. You did have Turkey, which was Christian state, but obviously now they're Muslim as well. In the United States, it's always cool and trendy to be anti-white, but it's a hate crime to be anti-Semitic. Well, not so much anymore. Now everybody's anti-Semitic in America. Every university and students and professors are all fucking anti-Semitic. I'm surprised Sean isn't talking about Clarissa's beef. Why would I talk about Clarissa Shields? She's fucking not fucking interesting, not fun to watch. She's doing nothing, fighting bum-ass opponents, and now she's calling out a 50-year-old, telling you how pathetic her career is right now, that you need to call out a 50-year-old who's been retired for 18 years, longer than Bobby's been born. They keep printing money and destroying the country. John Boxing still don't get it. Sean loves a good Clarissa Shields topic. No, I don't. She's fucking not interesting at all. I think Sean would get with Clarissa Shields if he had a chance. You fucking mental. I would not fuck Shields. I'd not fuck Serrano. I would not fuck Katie Taylor. Back in the day, I would have fucked Layla Ali, but not now. She's fucking old enough to be my mother. Come on. Let's keep this shit fucking 100. Let's think about which female boxers I would fuck. Pound for pound top 10, come on. Women boxers by design are ugly girls. That's just the design of being a woman boxer. It's very seldom you're going to be a woman boxer and actually fucking be good looking. Right? Like, how does that happen? That goes against everything we know. They're all mostly lesbians and fucking generally not fucking attractive. And that's fine. It just means that when you talk about men like me and you, generally we watch female sports because of a sexual attractiveness. If women are not sexually attractive, then we don't really care so much about the sports most of the time, unless someone is so dominant. But okay. Clarissa Shields is a quote for beating Danielle Perkins, 41-year-old Canadian who fucking didn't even have 10 wins. Hollow Ninja sneak through the back door on Clarissa. She wouldn't even feel it. Federal Reserve is not federal. It's all privately owned Jewish bank. Serrano cuts all the muscle. She would be more gorgeous. Sky Bumgardner, pretty hot. Sky Nicholson, not attractive. She's attractive, but if you saw her outside at the bar dressed up, Celia Brakes used to be good looking. Now she's old and not so good looking with her fake eyebrows. Bop. That's not a great picture of Bop, but she's not an ugly girl. Estrada. I thought she retired. Why is she even listed? Not an ugly girl, but I don't think she's like drop dead gorgeous. This is the worst fucking pound for pound list ever. Is something wrong? Like, how the fuck are these people even ranked? One's retired, fucking Holmes, no. Jessica Chavez, that's a terrible picture, but she's not that great looking. Jessica Plata, she's not unattractive. Delphine Persoon, no. Looks like a Viking. Fujiaka, oh no, not at all. She looks like the fucking owner of 7-Eleven. Torres, looks like she should be fucking cooking me something. Amanda Serrano, she's not unattractive, but yeah, she looks a little too manly for me. Ina, she's definitely German with those hard edges, but she's not unattractive. Juarez, pretty good looking. Marina Juarez, pretty sexy, even with the gangster tattoos. Silva, not unattractive. If she was at the bar, she might look pretty good. Acuna Matata. Cameron, lesbian. Thorsland, maybe back in the day she wasn't bad looking. Very blonde. Not so unattractive. German, but nothing crazy. Pretty good looking. Yocasta Vale. Sometimes when she's dressed up in clothes, she looks pretty fucking sexy. Shields. Oh, come on, man. First of all, that picture looks like a mugshot. You couldn't talk to her because she's fucking, terrible person. Bermudez, not my style, but okay, not so unattractive, I guess. Mayer, oh, fuck. Some people think she's attractive. Not at all. She's the kind of woman that is totally fucking pro-Hamas. Jackie Nava, she looks like a promoter. Abel Ortiz, she's a little Asian looking. I like that. Where's more name people? Bumgardner, not the most beautiful face, but a sexy fucking body on her and a great ass. Oh, yes. We like it. It's all good. What happened? Where'd she go? Gabrielle Funduro, not attractive at all. Looks like her fucking brother. Bermudez, Jessica McCaskill, Mikado, Carolyn Dubois, not so attractive, but I love the pink hair. Layla Ali, what's this? This must be historically, what's going on? How's Layla Ali on this list? Ava Knight, historically people thought she was pretty sexy. This picture, Layla Ali, not unattractive, but that's definitely not the best picture of her. I just think if you're chasing women in their boxes, chances are you're not going to be that happy about it. The face pick is rough for Bumgardner. That's true. Somebody said Clarissa looks like prime Antonio Tarver with a wig. actually like female UFC fighters better than these women. Am I the only one that thinks Christy Shields is obese? Well, she's not obese. She's a black woman, so she's got a big ass, big dumpster. I think a lot of the prime girls are fucking sexy, right? Prime female fighters. Maybe because they're all Asian, but they all fucking look sexy as hell. That's not prime. Is Amanda Nunes now prime? What's going on? What's with this Chinese shit? Like Angela Lee was fucking super attractive back in the day. Now she's a mom. Her sister was a cutie, but fucking died, which was sad and unfortunate. There she is with her kid. Where's all these other Layla Ali? Her shorts are pulled up too far. That girl's not bad looking. Even Ronda Rousey back in the day when she was peak, not my style, but she's not an unattractive girl, and obviously she was fit as fuck. Uh, why are you showing me all mediocre girls now, but then my social media is covered with hot bitches? Where's the hot bitches when we need them? Yeah, there's Lee. All Lee. She's cute. Cute girl. Prime Sophia was peak. Cougars give it up easy. Prime Salma Hayek is the best I've seen. Salma Hayek is fucking beautiful. Mayer is the only female boxer that's attractive. Come on, man. She's fucking a lesbian, fucking anti-American. It's funny that Salma is Mexican because their women are usually tortas. That's not true. Like many, sorry, Lily, many women from certain cultures, when they're young, they're pretty fit. It's just when they get older, they fill out, right? Mexican women, a lot of Latino women do that. A lot of black women do that. Filipino women, a lot of times they are the same, really sexy when they're young and fit. And then once they have kids, kind of like white women, right? Put on the pounds, look far less attractive. If you get a date with a cougar, you're guaranteed to get laid the same day. Well, that's why people chase cougars and people with kids. When I was in high school, we had a daycare at my school to encourage black girls in the community to continue their education. I think I had sex with 3 girls that had kids in my school. One girl from Angola, this other girl, sexy and big giant tits. Oh my God. But violent. And then another girl that had 2 kids that was super cute. I remember years later in university, she was like a security guard at like a Lollapalooza event. So it was interesting to see her years later. But yeah, easy pickings. There's nothing wrong with that. For men, generally we don't get that option. Usually that's women, right? Women get to pick and choose who they have sex with. Usually men, we gotta work hard, compete, and maybe we get lucky. Maybe. Or maybe fucking have to, what's the word? When you take something you think is below you. What the fuck? Man, I'm stumped. It's not your level. You think it's below you, but the night's late. You got nothing else left, so you end up taking that. What times were better, Sean? 80s or 90s? Women are super picky when they're young. When they're in the 30s, they become desperate. What's your preseason pick for NBA title? Denver. Settle. Yeah, how come I couldn't think settle? Thank you very much. It's not a hard word, but it just wouldn't fucking come out of my head. Yeah, men tend to need to settle. Women don't need to settle. They pick and choose what they want and go through fucking the crew and pick who is the most desirable. We tend to settle. I never settled, really. I always picked what I wanted. If I got it, ta-da! If I didn't, whatever. Then I don't have to worry about fucking waking up with fucking aggravation the next day. I just wake up and go on with my day. So now that I'm getting older, I talk to girls that would be settling, but I end up saying, fuck it, it ain't worth my trouble. And then I end up not settling. I just go home and wake up without the aggravation. Denver, what? Is Jamal Murray turning back the clock or something? No, they signed a great young forward. They added bench depth. They got a backup center for fucking the Joker. They almost fucking beat Oklahoma last year. This close to beating Oklahoma last year. And now the team is much better this year. And the Joker is still the best player in the NBA. You bet it's against Canadian SGA. I've never been an SGA fan. When he played at Kentucky, I don't even remember him. Right? Like, I'm a Kentucky fan, but I don't even remember fucking SGA playing fucking for Kentucky. I try to think back and think, maybe I knew he was there because he's from Canada, but I don't remember him making much of an impact for Kentucky. So when he got drafted, I didn't think too much about it, even though Kentucky guards tend to go on and do very well in the NBA. But stylistically, he reminds me too much of fucking Harden, right? Not the kind of player I like to watch. I prefer what's his face from fucking Minnesota. Women past 35 tend to decline. Men after 35 continue to age like wine and become more prime. Study shows 38 is a man's peak. At 40, we start living. So if SGA was Caucasian, you wouldn't be calling him the best ever? Again, Bobby making it racial. But it's me that always makes stuff racial. The best ever is fucking Michael Jordan. He's not Caucasian, is he? Larry Bird was Caucasian. I think he's better than LeBron James, but I don't put him over fucking Jordan. Uh, 80s and 90s. I have to say 90s were better because obviously I was old enough to appreciate them more, right? End of university, beginning of traveling the world and moving to Vancouver, getting more pussy than before. But the 80s and high school and stuff, and just the beginning of university, obviously I was playing basketball, loving life. Life was great in the 80s too. Fucking, I can't complain. Generally, my life has been pretty fucking good. Could things have been better? Sure. Could I have been smarter? Sure. Could I have made different choices? Of course. But overall, I can't really complain. Life has been pretty smooth. Have I reached all these great sort of levels that some people have reached? No. But that was never my goal to begin with, ever. So it's not a surprise I never reached those because I never was really focused on it to begin with. I never wanted to be a millionaire. I never thought about being fucking rich. The one thing I would like to have was a house on a lake and some space. But, everyone has dreams. I still have those dreams. Maybe it'll still happen. But overall, life has been fucking pretty good. I got no fucking complaints overall. Sean, would you rather have a submissive, kind woman who is a 7 or a 10 who is aggressive and rude? 7. I might have chased after the 10, but I would prefer the 7. And not submissive, but just a good woman. Larry Bird is far superior to LeBron, and I'm black. Far superior. The only thing LeBron James has over Bird, athleticism. Nothing skill-wise. What's up, John McSmith? Joel Walsh's life's been good. That's right, Sean. We just want to live. We keep on going, brother. God bless you all. God bless. Yeah, people just want to have a good life. Everybody, right? In the 80s, 70s, I was a kid in the 70s. We were free to do what we wanted. Parents didn't fucking control us. We're out all day riding bikes, climbing trees, fucking around. In the 80s, I started just wanting pussy, chasing girls, playing basketball. Life was good. High school, never really had too much problems. Got girls, played ball, played volleyball. Life was good, was free. My grandparents didn't control me. I could do what I wanted as long as I didn't cause trouble. Uh, 90s, university, traveling through Asia, going to Vancouver. Life was good, man. Sean, how do you describe Thai women? Taiwanese or Thailand? I'm paid good money for women to put hands and feet on me, so I'll take the 10 aggressive. Do you know the song, right? Sad thing is that many brothers will take the woman who is a 10, then complain about how rude she is. You already knew. Checking up with John Boxing, AL Boxing Chat Room. Huh? 5'10" white boy playing basketball. A lot of it is kind of weird. I never thought I'd be 5'10". My dad's 6'1", my uncle's 6'2". So I always figured I'd be at least 6 foot tall. That's why I primarily played basketball and volleyball. If I would have known I would be just a short ass, I would have fucking focused more on golf and maybe soccer. But, I could dunk. I was good. Great. No. But, you make the best of what you have. Taiwanese, women are women. Women are women. They all fucking just want to price up. They think they're better than they are. They want men that are too good for them, and they think they deserve it. All women, fucking the same. That's because you're young. I chased all 10s, and when I got them, I was happy. But in the long run, it never fucking worked out. Never lasted long. LDBC said Anui is ducking Elijah Pierce. Now, currently, first of all, Elijah Pierce is fighting at 126 now. So, no. And that's right. Who the fuck is Elijah Pierce? Elijah Pierce has done nothing in his career. He's only being hyped because, once again, people can't accept non-black fighters as being great. So you got to find a white guy that somehow, a black guy that you could use. If you're 5'10" white boy and you can dunk, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I could dunk. One of my great highlights is going to our arch enemies, Runnymede, where I went to school with tons of these people in elementary school and junior high. And then they're watching and I'm fucking running fucking drills, fucking dunking. And thinking, I remember I didn't play basketball until I started hanging out with you guys. And now you're watching me play basketball. Thank you very much. Everybody can dunk a donut. Hall of Famer, but not first ballot. Chi shouldn't be first ballot Hall of Famer ever. See, Bobby, still you're pushing your racial narrative. You realize every time you come on my channel, you consistently are the one pushing this kind of racial fucking divide type of bullshit. Consistently. Not me, you. You and fucking the other dude, the other clown, the other joker. So what were we talking about? What fighter? Fucking Elijah Pierce. Elijah who? Exactly. So Elijah is now considered featherweight because he moved up in weight. So is he still ranked or is he going to... Oh, there he is, number 12 by BoxRec. 21-2. So this kid that's 21-2, that's fucking who Anui is afraid of. Oh my God. People are fucking mental. I miss the good old days. Me too. I brought up some good points on the topic before you dismissed it. No one's talking about it. You're pushing it because of the whole racial fucking issue. Why are we talking about that now? That's fucking last week's issue. No one even mentioned fucking Golovkin outside of fucking his fights with Canelo when you guys were all over the Canelo fights. He lost to Giovanni fucking Cabrera. and Suleiman Sagawa, both good fighters, right? But that shows you neither one are world champions. Neither one could win a world championship fight. But that's the level of opposition he fought. And recently, he fought not bad opponents. Tremaine Williams already got beat by Fulton, Plania, Arthur Villanueva, Filipino fighter, hasn't been relevant for fucking a million years. His last fight, Des Moranis, a guy that Inui fought during COVID because he couldn't get real opponents. So he fought a Filipino who lives next door to Japan, who is easy to bring over to Japan during COVID. That's the kind of opponent that fucking Pierce is fighting. And now he's fighting this guy, Lorenzo Parra. 23, 1-1, 17 KOs. Look at him. Guy looks like he's chinny as fuck. Venezuela. So you know he's garbage. This guy's lost to some guy I'd never heard of. And literally, he's got one impressive thing on his career. One. He has a draw versus Omar Cade Trinidad. Not bad. Trinidad is a really good young up-and-coming fighter. He's got a draw versus him. Right? So that's the most impressive thing he's done. Get a draw against that kid. And now he's fighting Elijah Pierce. And if Elijah Pierce beats him, what? Is he even going to be ranked in the top 5 by any sanctioning body at 126 pounds? He's not at 122 anymore. What does Benavidez have to do against Yard for you to give him credit? Win. A stoppage or a dominant decision. Either way. Either way. A stoppage or a dominant decision is fine. Either way. Yes. Inui's ducking Tank, but Tank isn't ducking Bud Crawford. Right? Like, the extent people will go to hate on some people is fucking ridiculous. You don't have to like Inui, but why are you fucking saying he needs to fight Tank Davis? Like 78. 78 said he will give fucking Inui no credit unless he goes up to 135 and beats Tank Davis. What? What? And now, of course, we know those guys don't even respect Tank Davis because they're Devin Haney dick riders, right? But it's like, man, you dudes are fucking ridiculous. Like, that's why American boxing is fucking in the shitter right now. Literally. It's in the can. American boxing, you know, you hear John Boxing talking about how American boxers dominate boxing and talks about historical. I'm making a video about that later today. You can tune in and check that out. We'll check the numbers. And the numbers are fact. Not fucking racial, not fucking anything else except legitimate facts. I'm going to use legitimate facts. And yes, black American fighters, dominant compared to everybody else, historically. And key word there is historically. Does that mean there's no good black American fighters? Not at all. There's tons of great black American fighters. The question is, are they going to prove they're great? Or are they going to go the way of Keyshawn Davis and many others? Tank Davis, Adrian Broner, guys that just fucking shit the bed on their fucking legacies. I got to give credit to Kambosos. He fought everyone and is willing to fight Shakur. Yeah, Kambosos, he's no bitch. But he also understands that he's getting money taking losses. Charlo demanded $10 million more to face Boots or Crawford after a 2-year layoff. Of course he did. Of course he did. Because all he cares about is money. He fucking went up and fought Canelo, fought fucking terrible. And now he expects another payday coming off of a terrible performance. Go fucking beat somebody. Earn your money. Do I want to see what? Boots versus Charlo? No. I don't care if I ever see Charlo, Spence fucking again. Their time has come and went. Let's move forward. It's a tough life. It's a tough life. Charlo should be at 160. Well, for him, it'd probably be smarter to go to 160, where you got two fucking LDBC, PBC fucking champions, Carlos Adames and fucking Laura, right? You go fight Carlos Adames. Laura's going to fight Janabek. And then you're in position to fight Janabek or Laura for undisputed, to become a two-weight undisputed champion. And potentially put you in a potential Bud Crawford super fight where you're going to make way more than $10 million. Way more. And at that point, nobody would hate on the fight. You beat Adames, and then you beat Janabek to become undisputed in your second weight division. Man, Charlo really is a pound-for-pound top 10 fighter. And now you're going to fight Bud Crawford to defend your titles. Crawford trying to become a four-weight undisputed champion. You defending your two-weight undisputed champion versus Crawford, arguably the pound-for-pound number one fighter in boxing. That shit would be fucking legitimate. And nobody could say anything except, damn, hats off to both those motherfuckers. But he don't want to do that. He's like fucking Andrade. He wants to do nothing and get paid big. Charlo has real talent, I thought. I always wanted to see him prime Mal versus GG battle of some great jabs. Well, that's different, Charlo, right? He's at 168 now. Other than Bud, there's a lot of black American boxers to look forward to. Who do we have? Boots and dishonest Devin Haney. Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason's great, but we'll see how great he is. Keyshawn Davis was the one I thought was going to cross over, but he shot himself in the foot. There's a lot of good up-and-coming black American fighters. Who's going to be great? That's the question, right? Same with everything. Right now, who do you got? Crawford obviously is right up there. Boots Ennis, is he pound for pound? Not yet, but he's moving towards that direction. Shakur is pound for pound. The problem is he hasn't got the names on his resume. Gervonta Tank Davis, he don't want a resume. Devin Haney's doing what he should do, but he's not an exciting fighter. And the cap he puts out makes him cringeworthy. He's always been cringe, and that's why some people don't like him. Even black Americans don't like him. Tank Davis fans don't like him. Brian Norman, if he beats Haney, he becomes relevant. Charlo, not relevant. Hitchens, come on. Hitchens is not great. He's never going to be great. He could be good, make money, have a good career, but pound for pound, I don't think so. Keyshawn was right there on the precipice. Oshaki Foster, he ain't great. He's similar to fucking Hitchens and probably not as good as Hitchens. Fulton could become a three-weight world champion and put himself right up there on the list. Raymond Ford passes the eye test, but he's not even taking on world champions right now at 130. He don't look like he's interested in becoming a two-weight world champion. Yeah, Keyshawn's still young. It's just he had the opportunity to really make a statement, and he fucked it up. And now talks about retiring at 26. Rest in peace, Gaddafi. That's the reason why they took him out. Yeah, Gaddafi, man. I'm one of the loudest speakers fucking talking about how Gaddafi was taken out. Pure bullshit. Keyshawn for sure, he messed up, but still young. If you had to put a ballot today, Hall of Famer for Spence. No, Spence is not a Hall of Famer. You're going to say, he's done more than fucking Golovkin. Did he? Fighting in-house fucking PBC fights? And only a one-weight world champion like Golovkin, right? Golovkin gets no credit because he's a one-weight world champion. Spence, one-weight world champion. Spence won 3 belts. Golovkin won 3 belts. Spence has better resume. Oh, Spence fucking got beat when he stepped up and has never come back. Golovkin got beat by Canelo, came back, re-won the fucking titles again, and became a unified champion for the second time and wasn't ducked. Spence literally ducked fucking Crawford for 5 years. 5 years, ducked him. Africa is not poor, just mismanaged. That's a fact. Well, that's what Gaddafi was saying, right? He was trying to do what Hugo Chavez was doing in Venezuela. And arguably, this is when I kick back against England and America. They fucking killed Gaddafi. They killed Chavez because they were trying to bring these continents together using oil money and resources to make fucking Africa strong, right? And the same thing Hugo Chavez was trying to do in South America. I wish those guys would have been able to do what they wanted to do. If you have a strong Africa and a strong South America, the world's a much better place. We have no immigration because why do you need to immigrate when your country is fucking great, right? You have better tourism, better business. Fucking the world is just a better fucking place. So, yes, I agree. Spence, Porter, Khan, Gamboa, all these guys you say aren't Hall of Famers. So how good is Bud Crawford's resume? Only Canelo is the legit win. Crawford, like Golovkin, was blatantly fucking ducked. Blatantly fucking ducked for years. You know that, and I know that. But let's move forward. So far, have we found tons of great Black Americans? Crawford, maybe Stephen Fulton. Haney and Shakur, right? There you are. That's like 4. Then we move through the next group of guys for number 2 on the pound for pound list. Let's see. Come on, BoxRec. Stop fucking around. Keith Thurman. He's number 58 on this list. Don't ask me how. Garbage. Abdullah Mason, 66. The most highly regarded up-and-coming young Black American. A guy that most people think, like Boots, Haney and Shakur, and Tank, if he wasn't a douchebag, should all be pound-for-pound fighters. So I'm saying the pound-for-pound list could be full of Black Americans, but you got to do the work, right? You got to do the work. Lubin, no. Carrington, I like Carrington. Fucking smart kid, down to earth, super skilled, but 16-0, 9 KOs. He's 28 years old right now. He should already be a world champion and potentially moving to a second division, right? Because he's big enough, we could easily move to 130, just like Stephen Fulton has. But right now, what's he doing? He just beat like 3 dudes in a row that no one even knows who the fuck they are. His best win was a majority win versus Suleiman Sagawa, right? Which people say he lost. Like his resume is kind of like Boots Ennis's resume early on in his career. But Boots was younger and had more fights. And sure, it was against subpar competition, but Boots still ain't 28. Or is he 28 yet? I don't think so, but maybe. Rolly is shown being a 3-weight division champion. Oh, come on. Don't use Rolly as a fucking. Rolly fucking was elevated and fucking never. How was he even a 3-weight world champion? Who did he beat at 135? Was he a champion there? How's he 3-weight? At 140, he was gifted a title he never deserved. And at 147, he's gifted a title he didn't deserve. Where's the 3-weight world title? Did he win a title at 135? What did he win that fucking I'm missing out on? He's a 2-weight world champion, and he never beat somebody to win a title, ever. He's fucking the modern day fucking Demetrius Andrade. More fighters ducked Bud than Golovkin? Not true. Only PBC fighters ducked fucking Bud Crawford. Everybody at 160 ducked Golovkin. Hawker, a lot of people thought GG at 34 lost to Jacobs. Yeah, haters thought that. Not real fans. Haters. Danny Jacobs missed weight for next day IBF fucking rehydration, making him ineligible to fucking win the IBF title. Weight bullying Golovkin, and still got dropped and still fucking didn't do anything to win the title. But okay, he won. Well, they should overthrow the Venezuelan government right now because the current government is just a fucking drug cartel. The real fucking government that won the election 70-30 is in hiding because of assassination. So yes, the government currently should get kicked out. But yes, historically, America sticking their fingers in everyone's fucking politics was a fucking problem. The only reason Trump is worried about Venezuela is because of drugs. If they weren't selling drugs and importing drugs to America, Trump wouldn't even fucking be talking about Venezuela. Not like fucking all the governments before him. Reagan, the Bushes, Clintons, fucking Obama, right? Like historically, fucking America always sticking their fucking big nose in everybody's business, which is why historically people didn't like America. Not Americans, but America. But that people ignore that and act like Trump is the problem. Trump is least the problem out of every fucking politician we've had probably in the last 40 fucking years from America. Janibek is the 60-pound champion, will smash Crawford. I don't know if he'll smash him, but it's a good matchup for sure. Crawford was ducked across 4 divisions. Facts. But let's go. We're still looking for great American fighters. Floyd Schofield ducked Shakur Stevenson. Had an opportunity for a legacy fight. Ducked that fight. And now he is ducking fights against fucking Muratalla. Was offered an IBF world title fight with him. Ducked that fight to do what? Sit around and wait for Tank Davis to get stripped so he can be elevated to champion. Elevated. Not going to beat someone to win a title. Going to be elevated. Then we keep going through. We get who? Lamont Roach. Come on. We keep scrolling through. Gary Antoine Russell. Really? Is he as good as his brother? I don't think so. So, of course, there's American fighters, black American fighters, but where are all these superstars outside of the top 5 guys, and all of them were once at 135, and then Crawford? There's not that big of a fucking pot of dominant black American fighters currently in the sport of boxing. This is not me hating. This is just reality. I just told you all the guys. I'm just listing everybody off the list. I ain't picking and choosing. Crawford Janibek 50-50 fight. Do you have any good fights looking forward to? Of course. We got the 2 Saudi cards, one in November, one in December. Fucking great cards. Unbelievable. Sebastian Reyes, who Junto's fighting, is right there. Then Abbas, who's the world champion. Yeah. Now that we're down to this part of the list, there's no black Americans even listed. Oh, Amo Williams at 129. Reese Alim at 132. Elijah Pierce at 139. Charles Conwell, 148. Andy Cruz, not American, 150. Albert Bell, 153. Rolly Romero, a world champion, listed at 163. And Gary Russell, 167. Thin Pickens, baby. Thin Pickens. Every name I'm listing is a black American fighter. But now I'm at 200, and I just scrolled through 100 people, and there was like 3 people to mention. 3. Here's a guy to pay attention to. Straight amateur, currently 8-0 with 7 KOs. A lightweight. A guy that might make fucking big amends. Except nobody's talking about him, but everyone's talking about Andy Cruz. But yet he fought Andy Cruz in the amateurs multiple times. Where's his amateur resume? Oh. Lost to Ruslan Abdullayev. I like that kid. He's good. Lost to Andy Cruz. Lost to Keyshawn Davis. Lost to Keyshawn Davis. Lost to Cruz. but it shows you the level of opponents he was fighting. You're losing to Andy Cruz and Keyshawn, but we know those were number 1 and 2. So Schofield out there ducking smoke. Shakur is going to 140. He is. You notice people are dick riding Devin Haney for going to 130 to take on Norman. But hardly anyone's talking. The PBC card is not stacked. Tell me what top fighter is on that card. Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson is going to his 4th weight division, taking on Teofimo Lopez, arguably a pound-for-pound fighter. Brian Norman is no pound-for-pound fighter. What Shakur potentially is doing far supersedes fucking Devin Haney. Yet people are acting like what Devin Haney is doing is somehow unbelievable, and they're not even talking about Shakur Stevenson, ignoring him completely. Why? Because people love to pick and choose. Pick and choose. Ramos, Mosley, who cares about that fight? Who the fuck is Mosley Jr.? Ramos already got fucking exposed by Lubin. Like that fight, no one gives a fuck about that fight. Even boxing fans don't care about that fight. Ramos should be at 154 at a packed division with tons of big fighters. But he's moving up to 160 to fight nobody. Yeah, no, I know. Because of oil. Well, that's why I said Americans always have tried to stick their fingers into global politics. Sean, if you said Ramos got robbed, if I said Ramos got robbed, or you say Ramos, I never, ever said that Ramos got robbed. What I said is that Ramos fucking dropped the ball, didn't throw punches, fucking never could get out of fucking second gear, fucking threw away the biggest opportunity of his career, exposing himself as fucking overrated. And now he's going to 160 to take on fucking Shane Mosley's son. Who? Shane Mosley's not been relevant ever in his career outside of fucking having the Mosley name. I hope we get Garcia Haney 2 next year. Oh God, please no. The money and views are there. Yeah, but we don't need to fucking see Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney again. Those guys fucking shit on that fight. It's on. Let's move on. People ask me where all the great white American boxers. White Americans don't even watch professional boxing anymore. Well, that's again making it fucking a racial thing. Why does white people have to be American fighters? There's tons of great white fighters in boxing right now. Are they all fucking superstar pound for pound fighters? No. But you just heard me read Black American list. So let's go back and read fucking white fighters list. So, white fighters. Alvarez is Latino, so I won't list him. Bivol, Beterbiev, Usyk, Janibek, Nick Ball, Anthony Cacace, Liam Paro, Callum Smith, there's tons of white fighters in boxing that are top ranked. Adam Azim, is he white? I don't know. Chris Billum Smith, Dalton Smith. Jack Catterall, Arthur Bielasilyov, Sam Noakes, Aaron McKenna, Tyson Fury, Zaur Abdurev, Sam Goodman, MJ Akhmedov. I mean, that's the top 10. There's tons of fucking fighters that represent everyone. My point is boxing is way more fucking level now than it's ever been. That's not hating on Black Americans. It just means there's way more fighters now and there's not dominance like there once was. That's all, right? But people are so fucking bent out of pushing some racial narrative. Sam Goodman just had a good win, Bobby. What do you mean? I never said he is a superstar, but he's ranked in the top 100. Kind of lame list. See, once again, Bobby, I read the blacklist. There was 5 people, and then everybody else was kind of lame list too. Except when you go down far enough, you get Abdullah Mason, one potential superstar. If I went down on their list, you could find one potential superstar in Zaur Abdurev. There you go. Or sorry, Ruslan Abdullaev, the Golden Boy fighter. Potential superstar. No different than fucking Abdullah Mason. Kid was a fucking great amateur. I already told you one guy he beat. And the guy looks like a fucking phenomenal pro. So there's a potential superstar fighter that's not in the top 100, just like Abdullah Mason, who is he top 100 now? I can't remember the list, but nonetheless. Like, people just want to make everything about race. Why don't we just make it about great fighters, regardless of the race, right? Whether they're Japanese, Eastern European, Black American, fucking Latino. If there's great fighters, there's great fighters. Does it matter fucking if they look like you or not? 90% of the fighters I support don't look like me. And historically, the majority of fighters and basketball players I supported fucking definitively did not fucking look like me. Most of the musicians I listened to did not look like me. More and more afterwards, because you become older and more diverse. But it is what it is. But I'm going to feed the dog and chill. So thanks everyone for jumping in. Obviously, it's been a good conversation, except for a few off points here and there. But obviously, the point of this video today was talking about the new future of the lightweight division. Who's going to be the ones to take over it? As I said, I kind of think Abdullah Mason is going to be the next great superstar in that division. But there's plenty of other potential young fighters in the division who have something to say as well. And there's guys I didn't even list that obviously have great amateur pedigree and potentially could go on to do great things. When you get outside the top 25, you scroll down the list, you get guys like Laszlo Alvarez. He's a little older, but obviously a Cuban fighter, very good. You keep going down the list for up-and-coming young fighters. Great Canadian, Luis Santana. I didn't know he was Canadian, but since he's Canadian, I'll shout him out. Great amateur fighter, Sofiane Omara, who was a consistent medal winner in the Olympics, is currently ranked number 60. Will he be great? I don't know. He's not much of a power puncher, but he's a very slick, skilled fighter. Lots of other fighters who I'm not familiar with. Any of them could potentially turn out to be great. Kermel Moton at number 84, the next great Tank Davis, right? Charlie Sheehy, up-and-coming young American fighter, white fighter. I thought there was a Eastern European guy on this list, but maybe he's at 130. Maybe. In the top 150. A lot of names, but a lot of people we're unfamiliar with. Outside of Kermel Moton, I'm not sure. I thought there was more potential up-and-coming young, good fighters. But they may be at 130 or 140. You know, these divisions are so close. But we'll see in the future who lives on to be fucking great and how the 135-pound division looks in 2026. Obviously, we know Shakur and Tank Davis are probably leaving, so it opens the door for a whole new crop of young up-and-coming fighters. But thanks for jumping in. I will see you next time. Peace out and enjoy your weekends.